I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We worked for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, cause we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins.
Good morning, JFW family. Good morning, good morning. Buenos días, buenas tardes, y buenas noches. Welcome to the Channel 23 podcast, everyone. This would be episode 169. Jam is out for the week on vacation. Shout out to him. Buenos días, La Gañosa.
Yes. Hope you're having a good time in your vacation, Jam.
Enjoy.
Yeah, and again, guys, the purpose of this podcast is to reach out and touch the fleet to engage and inform everyone with all things JFW. I am your host this week, JR, and let's welcome Jim, Brother Dave, and Super Dave.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
All right, well, let's start off with the Pledge of Allegiance this morning, everybody.
All right. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father God, we thank you for the opportunity to go out and do some trucking today. We pray for the safety of our fleet, all of their families, and all the other families and individuals we come across on the road today. We pray for patience and the making of good, safe decisions. We pray to be accident-free and that we all make it back to the comfort of our homes this evening. We pray for healing and 100% recovery for all of our family members that are ill. No matter what, we trust you, God. It's in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. And just a reminder, guys, everything you hear on today's podcast is not the opinion of JFW, but it is the opinion of the four men in this room.
And an intelligent, insightful plans or thoughts.
Yeah. I just got to tell you guys, I am an opinionated SOB, I'll tell you.
Opinionated, Dave, or I seem to think of myself as I seem really cold, like it's just black and white. It's just like no heart anymore. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I can certainly get that way too, Jim.
You just get cynical, I guess. Maybe it's an age thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hardened over time for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just you build that armor and it just bounces off instead of absorbing.
Not, it's just opinions or informed facts. It creates good discussion.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, excited about it. I look forward to it every Wednesday, getting our message out and talking about different things. And a lot of times the podcast just goes in different directions. It grows, it's organic, not necessarily with the list here in front of us.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
How's going everybody in a different direction there? How about that Super Bowl, huh?
Oh man,
how about them Eagles?
That's right.
Yeah,
I was surprised how lopsided it was.
I should have sent a message to our friends at Access Advertising in Kansas City.
I know Holly came home last night from being at Arapahoe Roofing, and she goes, "I didn't even pay attention. Everybody came to me. She won $200."
Oh,
nice. Yeah.
Because she picked the Eagles and everybody else picked Kansas City?
Well, no, she wanted Kansas City. I didn't ask that, Dave, now that I made that comment, because I guess because it was so lopsided, she picked scores that shouldn't really happen, and then she won then.
Oh, gotcha.
So, yeah.
Man, I'm going to have to give her a hard time if she wanted Kansas City.
Right?
She's one of the few people I know that wanted Kansas City.
Yep. Yeah, she wanted Kansas City.
Yeah, I cheated a little bit on our little family football pool because I knew my brother-in-law, John, and Jackie's mom, Kathy, and Jackie, just from talking over the course of a week, I knew that they were all picking Kansas City. And I thought, well, at that point, we have to pick the score. You have to pick the points. And I thought, well, that's just too tight a window to win. And I thought, my odds are way better if I pick the Eagles.
Yeah.
I did, and I won.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people won.
Yeah.
I can't bring myself to gamble. I just can't. Like, I just work so hard or work so long hours to just gamble away money that I did get into like the DraftKings app, and I was like, okay, I'm going to pick this, pick that. But then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy the game.
Yeah. As much as they advertise, boy, there must be a lot of people that bet on sports.
Man, Dave,
way more than I can even.
They showed
fathom.
that commercial, or they gave that stat before the game because it was 2 point something billion of betting, and they thought it would be like 3.2 billion this year for this game. They
People or dollars?
Dollars spent on gambling,
or just on the whole
football
sports book thing.
No, I think football, or could have been maybe it's just plain Super Bowl. I don't remember that fact, but it was betting on football.
Well, just applications themselves have made it so much easier to bet.
Yeah.
I mean, these days they bet on anything. They bet on the elections. They bet on obviously sports.
Yes.
I mean, they bet on what color the Gatorade is that they tip on the coach.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably bet, hey, what's next week? What's the president going to do next week, and that kind of thing.
So I wonder if they bet on what color Kelsey's pantsuit was going to be.
Boy, did he look like John Travolta?
It was an ugly brown.
Holy cow!
Yeah. Yep.
I saw a meme where it was like, this is how Travis Kelce felt because it was after the game and they showed him and he was all depressed walking out. And the meme was, you'd feel that way too, or if you were in one of Taylor Swift's old pajama sets.
Oh man.
It was most definitely a surprising game. I expected it to be closer, a little bit more exciting.
It was boring, JR.
Those guys, they had a terrible day.
Yeah.
And everybody does. You'll go out and just you can't do anything right, and that's what the Chiefs had.
Yeah.
They really did.
They'll bounce back from it.
Oh, yeah.
They got a good coach, a great coach, actually. I mean, he's won how many Super Bowls with them already? And he was with the Eagles.
Right.
So he took them to quite a few playoff games.
And I mean, they've got the best refs in town.
No.
But you saw that piece that Andy Reid is the winningest coach for the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Yes, I saw.
Only coach in history to do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
For the Eagles
Yeah.
also, huh?
Yeah.
Dave?
Even more so than Belichick?
Not
It
at
was-
one team.
No, okay.
Two teams.
Yeah, right. Both teams.
He's
Both-
just around the corner from Ty and Belichick, though, as far as I know.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. I did see that stat, yeah.
He's going into the Hall of Fame for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Any favorite commercials?
Honestly, that's what usually I think everybody looks forward to, right?
Right.
But I wasn't very impressed. Usually I want a good laugh or something like that. I thought they were kind of bland this year.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was a little nostalgic for me, but the Meg Ryan and the other one where they duplicated
The mayonnaise,
Yeah,
when she has her orgasm.
Mary
yeah,
Loves Sally,
when
Yeah.
Harry Met Sally. Thanks,
Yep.
Dave. Yeah, I couldn't
Yep.
remember the name of that.
I
I
must
thought
have missed that
it
one.
was more nostalgic for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It was well done.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then I kind of really like all the different commercials for the spring football that's coming out. I don't even know what league that's called, but it starts in, I think, March. And if you didn't see it, JR, because of the expression you made, they show two teams like at the goal line and they hand the ball off, and it's kind of that David Attenborough voice from like The Animals, and it says, "The young bull, you never know what to do. They're so powerful." And he like hits a lineman and, dives into the end zone, and it's like they're crashing to their, I don't know. They just make it, that David Attenborough.
Right. National Geographic.
Yeah,
Animal
exactly.
Planet.
It was cute. I saw a couple different versions of that. I liked it.
Mhm.
Yeah. On the more serious side, I thought the breast cancer commercials
That one
were really.
Mike told me that, and
Yeah,
I totally missed it.
the first
There
one
was
threw me off.
There
'cause
were
I'm
several.
looking
Yes,
at-
that's
I'm-
what they did.
I'm
Dave was
looking at the boobs.
Yes. Yes.
Duh. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's about breast cancer.
Yes.
Down to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they do that. They showed all the boobs and the different stuff. They were trying to get your attention.
It worked, huh?
But when they really need to be looked at is for this part.
Yeah.
It was they were good.
Yeah.
They were good.
No, on that thought too, Jim, the I am someone really hits home with me. And then they play that commercial on the playoff games as well. But it's just so strong that you've got to take these kids and tell them you're not a failure.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they come from these backgrounds that are less than perfect, obviously.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I just think that was a great message.
You know, in sports for so many of those kids is their only out.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, that's their only opportunity to get out.
Yeah.
If you want to say it as such.
Yeah, because we've talked about it downstairs, and me and Jam and Tracy were joking about it earlier this week or last week, but that, like you're talking about, Dave, but and affirmations, they are so hard to do, and that's what that commercial is about, is the coaches or whatever doing that with the kids of believing in themselves, that affirmation, it's hard to do. And JR, and it shouldn't be, because he dogged our Broncos, right? He dogged Ford, but the Jeep commercial with Harrison Ford, I loved it, especially when he whispered. He goes, my family makes me happy, my work makes me happy, this Jeep makes me happy, and then he goes, even if my last name is Ford.
Oh, funny.
I was like, that's good.
It was a good one, but
right?
hey, what's the history of Jeep? Who was it made by first?
Right,
Ford.
Ford.
It was made by Ford.
Yep.
So,
oh wow.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Willys was a Ford company? Because didn't Willys make the first Jeep?
Because there's that Army. I don't know how it breaks
was the
down.
Army trucks that were built by Ford first, and
yeah.
basically became Jeep or something.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if Willys is the first Jeep or not, Dave. I don't know. We'll have to do some history, checking the evolution.
Google that.
Right? Right.
Hey,
Yeah,
Google.
The other commercial I remember seeing was, and this is last year, right? I don't know if you guys remember last year's commercial, but there was a Mexican girl that was playing flag football, and she was running through the kitchen, through the fields, and pretty much evading every single person that was trying to get her flags.
Yeah.
Well, this year they did the flag football commercial again, a little differently, but I didn't realize that it wasn't a varsity or it wasn't, it's not a sport that's made
in high
varsity
school
for girls,
yep,
I guess.
Right. Yep.
So I was like, wow, I mean, if it's that big, why not?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that would be a good movement. Give the girls another sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought in all high schools was the commercial. Yeah.
Yeah. I did like that commercial too. The way that she was running around and people were like, I'm going to get you. And it's like, no, you're not.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
No, I think that was, it's a good thing, obviously. And I thought that was kind of in line. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it was in line with the whole, women's sports and keeping it that way and not mixing up with, biological men.
Yeah. And
Trump signed that last week, man.
Yeah.
No more men in women's sports.
That was a win for women.
Yep.
Yes, it was.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, it sure was. Yeah. Yeah. And then, transition into the dad joke, the Budweiser commercial, where the end of it, where the horse is pushing the keg, but the lady's starting to tell the joke. A horse walks into a bar, and then that horse walks in pushing the keg. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yep. We deliver.
Yep. We deliver. Yep. Yeah. So speaking of that, did you guys hear that the police confirmed that the man who tragically fell from the roof of the 18th floor nightclub was not a bouncer?
Was it more of a splat?
Well, that's my intro into the dad joke.
That's the intro. Is that it? That's moving on. That's all you got.
Yeah.
Well, I got two of them. The first one's probably uneventful because I've kind of shared it with all of you guys. So I just need someone to play along. Do you guys know the difference between curtains and toilet paper?
No.
Oh, so it's you.
Oh, that's
I was
gross.
wondering why those curtains were different colors.
What's on the curtains? And then my other one, I don't think Jim's heard this one, but 3 old guys are at the convalescent home, and I'll try and keep this as clean as I can. And the first one, he just says, I would just love to have a good number one. I dribble, a drab, a squirt, and I would pray for a good number one. And the second guy goes, I would just do anything for a good solid number 2. Because it's just, you don't know what that means until it's taken away. And when you don't have just a good solid number 2, your day is just ruined, and it's so much work. And you try and build and you squeeze a little, and it's like, it's just, maybe a peanut, maybe liquid, who knows, The third guy's like, oh my gosh, he says, every day at 7:30 in the morning, he says, I have a number one like you could just dream of. He said, solid stream. He said, you could fill a bottle with it. goes, it's just marvelous. And he says, then immediately at 7:35 every day, he says, I have a number 2 that's out of this world. It's just unbelievable. He says, it's majestic. It's perfect. It's log-like. It's just an amazing feat. And the first 2 guys look at him and goes, well, what are you complaining about? And the third guy says, well, I don't get out of bed till 9.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Didn't see that coming, huh?
Yeah, I got one like that, but I'm not. I mean, it's. Yeah, I don't know if we can. I should just do it, but it's. Yeah,
Tough to keep clean.
it's pretty. It's pretty. So it's 3 guys, and they're talking about how drunk they got last night, and the one guys go, man, you guys. He said, I got so drunk, I blew chunks last night. And the second guy's like, that's nothing. He said, I got so drunk. He said, I slept outside in the front of my house and my wife found me. And the third guy is like, that's nothing. He said, I got so drunk, I made it inside the house and called my wife another woman's name. And the first guy's like, oh, you guys don't understand. Chunks is my dog.
Oh man,
That's rough.
I mean, talking about a body not bouncing and now a dog blowing chunks. Yeah, not good. Leads me to mind though. Why don't scientists trust atoms?
Oh,
Because they're always splitting or they're irregular. God, what is it with atoms?
Yeah, you can't trust them.
They make up everything.
They make
That's
up everything.
That's
Yeah.
what it is. Good one. Yeah, good one, Joe.
Heard that.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit in that sense too. I'm pretty sure every household these days has an air fryer. I haven't even used mine since I bought it, but it pretty much works up that way, right? So I still can't get it to work. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe you guys can help me, but I put food in there, right? And I put it up in the air, waiting for it to fry. It's not working.
Oh, boo.
That's how you know it's a good dad joke.
All right. Save us, Soup. Save us.
All right. Well, it's pretty dang cold outside. So I came up with some cold weather jokes.
How cold
What
is
did
it?
the tree say after a long, cold winter?
Shiver my timbers.
Oh, snap.
Close. Man, what a relief.
Wow.
Okay, what do you call an old snowman?
Mr. Frost?
Water.
Water. Good job, Dave. Yep. So there you have it.
Well,
Hopefully we get through this deep freeze and it's the last one for the year.
Dave.
Right?
Boo.
Nice thing about temperatures, it seems like it's only today, tomorrow, and then Friday it starts going back
Yeah,
above,
it bounces back
above
up.
30s.
Yeah.
Isn't tomorrow like 35 though?
Yep.
39,
Maybe it's tomorrow, yeah.
39.
Yeah. I think it's
most-
just today.
Gonna
Mostly
push
sunny.
right out.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah.
And then
Back to
50,
seasonal because it's still
Monday or
February.
something.
Yeah. It's still winter.
I know. Still winter. Middle of winter even still,
Yeah.
huh?
That's how I look at January and February. They're our winter.
It's always a lead up to the holidays. You got Christmas and all the celebrating and then New Year's. And my birthday is, at the very beginning of February. After that, man, it's just a long, cold slog. It's terrible.
Yeah, it just drags out, doesn't it?
does.
Maybe
Yep.
it was the nice weather we had a couple weeks ago, but it does seem like this winter's not dragging as much as like last year was horrible. Maybe
Right.
it's because it snowed every
Like
every
yeah,
day or
or
something.
something.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So-
It just seems like it's going by so fast already. Yeah.
And January tends to be that month where it just drags.
Yeah.
Not complaining. It's my birthday month, but
yeah,
no,
I mean,
still.
we closed the books yesterday and I was like, January's gone. Like, wow.
I mean,
It
we're
does seem like
almost halfway through February.
That's
what
what
it
and it's a
seemed,
short
I
month.
mean, it's like, yeah.
Like, it's going to
Does
be
seem
March.
like it's going
Bam.
fast, Jim.
Right?
Yes. you
Yeah.
guys. Yeah,
So
crazy.
that just means spring is right around the corner.
Right around the
It
corner.
is.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, guys. So new employees, guys. We have 2 that started. Aaron Suazo, he started last Tuesday. I had him in orientation on Monday, along with Christian Salazar.
Yeah. Welcome, you guys.
Nice.
Glad to
Welcome
have you.
aboard.
Welcome to JFW.
Yeah, 2 great guys to have in that orientation. I really enjoy when they get really engaged with what's going on, what's being presented, what's being taught. when you get all the questions like, what about this? What about that? And
Mm-hmm.
especially when it's, what kind of a company is JFW? And, I love answering those and answering based off of my own experience since I started here in 2016. So two good guys to have there, and a lot of other guys that have gone through that orientation that I've enjoyed having there.
That's great.
That's awesome. Yep. Good stuff.
All right. Celebrations, anniversaries. I don't believe we have any, but birthdays. Kendrick, Anthony, and Fish, Mike Weichbrot, was on the 10th of February. And the 12th, Mikey Peterson, Zach Tharp. Isn't that today? Yeah, it's today.
Yeah, it is today.
It is today. And Ontario McClellan on the 13th. Ted Haney in the shop. He's on the 15th.
Ted.
And Steve Barnes on Sunday. Happy birthday, guys.
Yeah. Happy birthday,
Happy
everybody.
birthday, everybody.
Happy birthday.
Speaking of birthdays, that Connect Team app that we're using, it's just amazing. We haven't had that since we had Bamboo, where we got to see birthdays and anniversaries, and I'm just really enjoying that.
Yeah, it's nice to see that.
It is pretty cool to see all the birthdays and be able to reach out and
just
wish everyone happy birthday.
Yeah, wish happy birthday.
Yeah. Family birthday celebrations. Fabio's wife, Kathy de Gaetano Plaza, that her birthday is today. And then Zach Tharp's significant other, Letty Tharp, is on Sunday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah, happy.
I have
birthday.
questions. If
questions.
Letty Tharp is his significant other, I thought, significant other, you're not married.
Right. I think you can use that term either way.
Loosely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
that's
I
my
try to say
assumption.
significant other just so it's politically correct, whether you're married or, man, woman, whatever. You're just your significant other, that covers all of
Or
it.
common law or
It's kind of like, instead of Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, just, try not to offend
Yeah.
anybody. Not
Gotcha.
that, as long as they respect what I celebrate, I respect what you celebrate.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. All right, moving on to shout outs, guys. Georgi, very special shout out for him. He passed his U.S. citizenship last Friday. Way to go, Georgi.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
That's I think that's a dream that many people in the world have, is to be able to get to that level. And I'm hoping him, and I believe Fabio was the last one that did that a few weeks before him. So they definitely possibly understand how long it's taken them to get there and how much,
I
effort,
ran into
time.
Gio out in the red yard the other day, and he had a question, and he stopped me and asked the question probably about paperwork, XBE or something. I can't remember, but I said, "Hey, congratulations for passing your citizenship." And he just started off on it. He's like, it was a hard test. He goes, "I was so worried." He goes, "This is a big deal." He kind of stopped and said that, "This is a big deal for me." And I said, "I get it.
Right?
What a big deal."
Right.
That's where, when we talked about it last week in the podcast, went over the test questions and all that, is leading up to taking the test. But that's where I think more Americans need to be proud of this.
Yeah.
Just like you just said, JR, him taking that test and what it means. And that's what we should believe in, even though we are already Americans.
Mhm.
I mean,
I hope there can be some reform soon on the process, so the process can be done faster.
yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there needs to.
Because I would be interested to talk to Georgi the length of time this has taken.
Yeah.
I didn't know until you and I, Dave, were talking to George Potgieter, because we asked him about it, kind of chiding and joking. And he said, "Well, he goes, I'm just now eligible.
Yeah.
Got to be here for 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
Yep.
I may be incorrect too. I think it depends a lot on what country you're coming from too,
I have heard
let's say
that, yeah.
Mexico, I think you got to wait maybe 5 or 10 years.
Oh,
before
that
you do
wait
anything.
time is different.
Yeah, it's wait time before you get your green card.
Oh.
And then you get your green card, and I believe you have to have it for 5 years before you can actually apply for citizenship.
Oh,
I may be
interesting.
wrong, but I do remember that there's some type of wait period for that kind of
It's
stuff.
so complicated.
Yeah.
And
like you.
And it's different from every country.
Mhm.
Yeah,
There's countries
George
that-
mentioned
20
5
years
years
or something like
so,
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
coming from South Africa like he is, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. There should be a way to expedite it, like you said, Dave, because we're a nation of immigrants.
Yeah.
And we need to embrace
We all
that.
came here.
But we need to embrace it in the correct way.
Yeah.
Just like we all talk.
How cool of a story for him too, as the years go by, if his kids or his grandchildren in the future, or anybody he comes across, asks him, what was your greatest accomplishment? What
Right.
has been your greatest accomplishment? And he could look back and hopefully this is the greatest accomplishment.
Right.
One
Yeah.
of
One
many
of, yeah.
greatest accomplishments,
Yeah.
so, and I agree with you guys, we're a country of immigrants. We all came here one way or another, whether it was by
Absolutely.
a ship or via land or water,
Right,
whatever it
yeah.
was, right?
Yeah. It may not have been you, but your ancestors did.
Yeah. My biggest thing is like for the dreamers, the DACA,
Yeah.
the people that are under that kind of program, like they've been here since they were kids.
Right.
Let's
Yeah.
make a way for them. They've been paying
Right.
for it. And,
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is the country they know, and this is their country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christian Salazar is a DACA kid.
Really?
Because I said,
We have a few here, I
asked, do
think.
you have a resident card and everything? He says, well, I have a work permit, whatever you call it, employment authorization. And he goes,
The
yeah,
I-10.
I'm DACA.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, darn, cool. Good for you.
I believe Miguel is also the same thing.
Yeah.
Miguel Castrohome.
Wow.
So he's under that. Here you got two individuals, hardworking. They come to work. They do what they have to do, and this is what they know. This is the country they know, and they're doing it the right way as far as
Absolutely.
they're
Gerald.
not out
Yeah.
in the streets,
No.
robbing people or
Yeah.
or anything like that. So something like that, no criminal history, and you've been here all your life. Why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's should be part of the expedited system is, what kind of citizen have you been?
Right.
They should be able to look that up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Again, just kind of want to give a shout out to, for the engagement. So shout out to the whole fleet for the engagement on Connect Team, for all those that are consistently on there commenting, liking, putting out ideas on the Connect Team app. Also for the Samsara scores, ever since the rollout of our new safety bonus, how we've gotten a lot more of our drivers to actually look into that and be engaged as to checking that and what they gotta do better
yes.
to make them better. And not only that, to pay them, so
Yeah.
for them to make more money, a lot of them are always, that's the number one thing. Like I need to make more money for me, my family,
Yeah.
they have goals. And that's one of the things that I enjoy a lot about meeting everybody here is, them attaining their goals, whether that's buying a brand new car, new truck, a new house, or just saving up for retirement, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. JR, you're so correct. I know, because I know you and Erica were talking about it this morning, and just some stats on her team. And just because I asked her about it, and I know you have your stats. So she has 28 people on her team or her group. 24 of them are 90 and above. And out of those 24, 12 of them are 95 and 95.
Outstanding.
So you can't beat those numbers.
That's dang good.
And to me, when somebody comes in, I'm sure there's somebody out there that's going to be upset, but if I can't do it, or I can't get the scores, I'm like, wow, we're proving it right here.
Mm-hmm.
When you have all those people and what, she's down to, and I know she doesn't drive a truck or hasn't driven a truck. She's not out there, but she can see all the matrix of what it takes to get those scores, give them to you, and then you can put it into your driving skills. And it's still coming down to everybody I've talked to, JR, you and some other stuff, because we just had a meeting. So, well, you all three were in the meeting the other day with one of the drivers. It was a speed thing.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
In one area.
In one area,
Yeah.
Dave. Yeah, it's the speed. And that's just a safety issue for all of us.
Yeah.
If we had a meeting with everybody, Jim, speeding would be the top subject.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Everybody in here. That includes me and anything else, right?
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
Me too.
it is the top metric that everybody is keeping their score down.
Mhm.
So it's, to me, that's a simple fix. And I know we're going to talk about it here later on as far as safety discussion,
Right.
but it is a simple fix, and especially for those that have the newer trucks and all. But to your comment with Erica, she's a coach for one of the groups. A lot of them know that Erica doesn't drive, right? That does not matter. I mean, Erica knows the metrics. She knows what you have to work at. It doesn't mean that she has to know how to drive the truck. She knows the system. She knows that. Hey,
she drives.
if you work on this, this
She's
is
an
great,
expert.
right?
Here's how I termed the phrase yesterday. She's a data analyst.
There you go.
She's analyzing data. She's calling that person and saying, hey, via the data's showing me you're speeding too much. Because of your speeding, that's making your following too close, and it's making your throttle to brake deal So your speeding is causing 3 things: speeding, following too close, and what is the brake metric I'm talking about?
Wear free braking.
Wear free braking. And all she has to do is share that. She doesn't need to have a driving background.
I mean, we all drive either way.
Right? Right, exactly.
As far as the trucking background.
She's not coaching anyone how to drive the truck. She's not saying, hey, you need to go down the hill in this gear and you need to ask for this tonnage and you need to do. She's not doing that. She's saying, hey, listen, I've analyzed the metrics and the data is telling me you need to do this. That's all she's doing. She's helping you achieve more money, right?
Of course.
And that's the goal. And I mean, you guys, we had a meeting with a driver yesterday about this that had a relatively low score. And I just can't help but smile anytime we talk about this program because the results we're seeing are phenomenal. I mean, they are phenomenal. And when I talk about it, it excites me and I smile. It is a win. And it's a win for us and it's a win for you guys.
Because it's the first time it's helping all of us, Dave. And I know you just said it's a win-win, but it's helping all of us.
Yes.
You know, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
I
just can't help not talk about the program and smile. It internally makes me happy. Like I'm excited about it. And that driver that we helped yesterday, I think he kind of walked into a room and saw all of us and was like, oh shit, am I being let go or what's going on? When you walk in the room and there's the whole safety team and I was in there and, you got to start thinking a little bit like, oh boy, what's going on? And I think he kind of went in with the, oh shit factor. And when he left, he had the realization that, oh my God, everybody in this room is trying to help me. They're trying to help me slow down. They're trying to help me make more money. They're trying to help me be safer. They're trying to help me be more efficient, and they're giving me all of the tools that I need. And I felt like it was a win-win conversation with that driver yesterday.
I felt the same way.
You know what I mean? And we've had a handful of those that have been wins. They really have been.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at it, no matter what we try to talk about our culture, we try to talk about, doing it together and all the things we've done and everything. What companies, and I mean, we interact with a lot of different companies, are having a meeting trying to make you better. We're
trying to help you make more money.
Yes.
That's the goal. We're helping you make more money
and make you a better driver. Because no matter how you look at it, this is making you a safer and better driver.
Yeah.
Is it how you used to drive? Probably not. Right? We've all joked between us, me and you, Dave, what would our score be if we just go out and drive our regular normal way we did for years?
Right.
What would our score be?
Yeah.
I
bet we'd need a coaching adventure
65.
Yeah. Yeah. Erica would be calling me and going, hey, I've been reading the data, Uncle Dave, and hi, Erica. Yeah. I've analyzed it. It's not looking so hot.
I know you can drive, but you suck at
Yeah,
tests.
you need to slow down. Yeah.
Speaking of scores, I mean, and this is looking at that bigger picture. I mean, our customers have looked at that. Didn't Envirotech look at that stuff, like our CSA and pretty much based off of should we hire this company? Because I think a lot of places are doing that.
Yeah, they couldn't look at our Samsara, but they knew all about Samsara because they use it with their company vehicles. So they have their data. They had all of their program. And man, when we sit down and we talk to someone about that, our insurance carrier was just out, Great West Casualty, who does our insurance, and I don't want to call it an audit, but he comes out every 6 months to talk to us. And, he's like, how's it going? And we're like, well, we suck. We've had a couple of accidents that are at fault that were 100% avoidable. And we got a lawsuit on one of them. And life sucks right now. It's effing miserable. And it's gut wrenching because we can do better. But here's what we've done. And man, we laid out our program to him. And even with all of that said, I still was smiling at the end of describing the program and the results we're seeing, right away. And it was kind of funny because this is what he does for a living. And here's the one question that he came up with that I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. We haven't thought about that. And the question was, what do you do with the driver you've set down that has a score of 68 and they're not changing?
He asked you that?
He asked us that. Yeah. And it was a bit of a kind of dagger in the heart. Like, well, I don't know. I guess we just assumed everybody would change and get better. And that's a clear point. What do we do with a driver that has that and isn't willing to change? ultimately that's not our culture.
Have we had the meeting? Are we assuming that we've had a meeting with this driver?
We haven't yet.
No,
Okay.
not
Right.
at-
He posed the question 3
what do we
months
do?
down the road. What do we do if we have a driver that's just
So
F
he
it,
didn't
I'm not-
say that you've already met with and he's still not changing.
No.
Oh,
It was a theoretical. What are you guys going to do? Because
Yeah.
we're like bragging it up. We're going to have somebody, you guys.
Sure. We're going to have a meeting and we're going to talk to him about the facts and what we are going to require of that driver.
Well, that's the end of it. You've had that meeting, Dave. What you doing?
I think we're seeing that.
Well,
trend
that's what
somehow.
I just asked. Did we have that meeting already or not yet?
It's hypothetical, Dave.
Yeah, we've had that meeting. What do you do?
Yeah.
Hypothetically, we've had that meeting.
We've had a
Well,
couple
if we've had the meeting and he's still ignoring improvement, then we have to say, why? How come you're not working with us? How come you're not trying to get better? And if he comes up with an attitude like, it's a bunch of BS, you're trying to shove this down my throat, well, then he's not our culture.
Not our guy
Or
girl.
And
And,
that's
I got to talk about culture. I do a lot. It's what I do, right? And we all love the culture. That's why we're here. We want to work together. We want to enjoy our workplace. We want to feel like we're part of something bigger. But just like samsara and our culture of working together, it's up to us to make it real. If you're not involved and you're not caring about it, then it's not real and it doesn't exist for you.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
I love that, Super Dave. And I do think that we are starting to see the very few that we may need to sit down with. We may need to have that conversation. Is JFW for you? Because it's not for everybody.
No.
But I'm glad to say that for the majority of those that are here, it is for them.
Yeah.
And they have proven that with all the changes that we have gone through throughout the years, if they've been here that long.
Yeah. Yesterday, that meeting we had, you guys, we gave that driver, we threw every tool at him we could think of. Every stinking tool we could
Have you
think of.
tried this? Have you done that? Yeah.
Do you know about this? Are you aware of that? Think of doing this. I spun it and, brought his wife into it and stuff like that. Just any angle we could get. But it still boils down to what Jam says. You eat what you kill around here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you can either kill it doing it right, or because if you kill it doing it wrong, it's not going to last forever.
Well, you're not killing anything. You're going to starve and you won't make it here.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's basically the guy's name from our insurance company is Larry. That's what Larry was getting at. He said, that's quite a stance. What are you going to do when you get to the wall? And that's when we get to the wall, we have to do something about
that
it.
individual, does he want to win or does he want to lose?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Well, it makes you feel as though, Dave, that individual doesn't care. Right. And that's where you roll.
That's the bottom line.
That's where you roll back to our culture and we're like, well, we can't not care.
Yeah.
Our world is changing so fast with technology, with blame, with lawsuits, all of these epic lawsuits that are just putting companies out of business
The
and stuff.
nuclear lawsuits.
Yeah. The nuclear verdicts.
Yes,
Thank you.
verdicts.
We have to be perfect.
Yeah.
We have to do everything in our power. We're way better off traveling in that right lane down Highway 85 and not even getting in the left lane. The more times we change lanes, the more exposure we have to having an accident. Just all of the things we preach about, the speed, the number one related thing to accidents is speed.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, JR, when you sit there and you say our number one worst offense is speed.
Yeah.
Right. That's scary. We're talking about speeding in a loaded truck.
Yeah, and a lot of people will say, well, it's only 5 over. That's 5 over with 80,000 gross weight, 85, 92. Which one is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the momentum that's going to kill more than anything.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah. And going back to that meeting we had yesterday,
That's kind of like saying, I only shot at that guy. I didn't kill him.
I was only 10 over the speed limit going 90.
Yeah.
It was an 80 mile an hour
killed
zone.
somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
Just going back to that meeting yesterday and going off of what you guys are mentioning right now, how this individual, pretty much said, oh shit, we have Brother Dave, we have Super Dave, JR, Erica, Scooby, this isn't just a one-on-one meeting.
Right.
It's not a 2 with 1, it's what's going on.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do get a little freaked out maybe past traumas from other employment places or whatever.
Sure.
But I like to tell people, and I'll remind everybody that's listening right now, if we are taking the time to talk to you, it's because we care. Nobody's going to waste time to sit down with you for whether it's 5 minutes or even a half hour. I don't even remember how long it took yesterday. I think it was a 45-minute meeting with this person, but
it was probably close to that.
Close to an hour possibly too, but nobody's going to sit down if they don't care.
Right.
And we do care enough to want to sit down with you and have a conversation. I don't think we've ever had a meeting where we're just yelling at somebody. There's no point to that. We're not animals, we're there to have a conversation and see what we can do better and how we can help you improve. What do we have to do to help you improve, And once they go through these meetings and they see what kind of a meeting it is, they're like, oh, wow, okay. They're a little bit into a culture shock almost in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like we told this individual too, we care for you and we care for anybody here but you as an individual have to care more. You have to care more for yourself.
It's ultimately up to you. That's what I'm getting at with the you eat what you kill around here. It's your choice. Yeah. We can talk, we can preach, we can give you the bag full of tools. We can ask, we can beg, we can call, we can educate. You got to do it.
Yeah.
You're in control of your ship. And he said that yesterday.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good meeting.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really was.
We, I know you guys are all talking about it. I wasn't in the meeting, but I know when I talked to Dave about the meeting, and that's what I want to, reiterate is it was a really good meeting. The driver was really positive because Dave said, truthfully, I went through the meeting and he said, my heart went out to the driver because he got it and he just needs to make some changes. But again, like you guys are saying, it's up to him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's what, just to piggyback what you were saying, JR, is I don't think anybody realizes when, like the group of people you just mentioned, JR, when you guys all hit the brakes on everything you have to do and go meet with a driver.
Right.
It's a lot of time. It's not, you break it down. It's a lot of money, it's a lot of time spent that you could be doing other things. It's a lot of everything. That's how much we care.
Yes.
I mean, what other companies are really doing that? And that's the culture.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to build. That is going to make us different. Different is hard. It's all there is to it.
I've just got to say this quote that I came across when I was looking for a quote for my high road hauling, you guys. It's so applicable to what we're talking about. We're talking about victory, right? We're talking about lowering or raising your safety score and that sort of thing. But John F. Kennedy once said, victory has 1,000 fathers and loss is an orphan.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Is that not Dave? Good or what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited about my final thoughts or arguments today, Dave. I think I have a good one.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Deal. Yeah. So, man, I had a thought right on the tip of my tongue. I just lost it.
Don't you hate that?
Yeah.
I have some notes in for the shout outs here, JR. So wanted to give a shout out to you for jumping in, running the podcast.
Gunning.
Yeah. It's always, I know how hard it is not to do something all the time and you just get thrown in and have to do it. And I know you do that, because Jam hardly ever misses. So thank you, JR.
No, thank you. Well, Super Dave mentioned this morning. He asked me, he's like, are you nervous? I'm like, hell yeah.
I thought you were just messing around.
No, hell yeah, I am. But I did tell him, but that is a good thing because when you're nervous about something, you tend to want to cross your T's, dot your I's. You want to make sure everything is going to work perfectly,
Means you care.
Like Dave's speech, there's a shark in your tank right now.
Oh, definitely. There's been a shark in my tank for like the last 5 years, Jim. And, and I just remember the thought that I had, I'm sorry to interrupt here, but it's Erica mentioned it yesterday about that meeting. She's like, oh my God, I didn't think that having a meeting with somebody would make you feel like you're backed up on everything else we have to do. I didn't realize there was so much we have to do, how much energy goes into it. I'm like, Erica, we all have overflowing plates,
cups,
whatever you want to look at it.
Yeah.
But we still take the time to go and talk to whoever deserves it,
Yep. Yeah. And I wanted to give a shout out. I know we've talked about it before, probably, and different stuff like that. The night shop, I think hopefully somebody's listening to it. I don't know everybody's names and stuff like that. I know, the two Matts and stuff like that. And Andre, has stepped in over the last, you think it's been 6 weeks he's been in there, you guys?
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
Andre, and we just hired his friend Umberto, and
Umberto. Yeah.
Jason has been here, I think, in the, Matt Senior, Matt Junior.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm missing anyone in this shop.
Yeah, I didn't write everybody's name. It does not. I didn't know him. I didn't write everybody's name down. I just grouped them in the night shop, right? But with the changes we've had there, we found some stuff wasn't being done, and it's always good when you have change and you find out different things. There's new ways to do things.
New set of eyes looking at something.
New set of eyes.
13th man.
Yeah, and Andre's jumped in there and he's running some stuff, and he's vibrant and loud.
Pleasurable.
Positive.
Yep.
He's always positive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So just hopefully those guys are listening, and Andre, thank you for jumping in, and stay positive. It like Mikey says or has for years, you're always dealing with somebody's problems, not somebody's problems. Something's broken.
Yeah.
You're going to, as a mechanic, you're going to spend your life
fixing things
that are always broken. And sometimes that's depressing that I only fix things, broke. It's your job, but it's always broken. Right. So anyway, shout out to the shop and Andre. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Only because I've mentioned everybody else's name, and I really hope I didn't forget someone in this shop. And then we added Mo over at Yard 23.
Haven't even met him.
I haven't either, Jim, and Mike is thrilled to death.
Yeah.
And I know
a lot of experience.
Yep. And it comes from an end dump background, so that's a win-win. And I think he's kind of breathed a little bit of new life into Marco over there. And when I say that, I don't mean that Marco wasn't doing a good job before, but I think he's got a little bit of leadership helping him over there.
Yep, some experience.
Yeah. And I think things have gotten a lot better over at Yard 23. So Mo, if you're listening, thank you. Appreciate that. Same to you, Marco. And my apologies for if I forgot someone.
Good point, Dave.
On the night crew. So
I know we've talked about it, and we are so close, but man, when the new shop's up,
it's just going to be so much better.
Yeah, to meet people, see people, say hi,
right?
Have the room.
Yes.
You guys, I know probably Mo, you're looking at the facility over there and
look at what I'm stuck working in.
Right. But in the next in the next 18 months, there's going to be a change.
Yep.
We're so excited. Good stuff.
Absolutely, guys. Just going on with the shout outs as well, guys. Dispatch wanted to give a shout out to Coleman for volunteering nights.
Absolutely.
Just a huge help. Anybody that usually we ask to, hey, can you jump in? Nighttime is a big deal. Everything changes. Everything changes from day to night. It's a whole different world. But it's also very difficult because when you're used to just working days and then you go to a whole other shift, which is the opposite, that's difficult. So definitely a shout out to Coleman for that.
And Jason.
Yeah,
Jason
exactly.
having to go back to nights.
Yeah, he's been flip-flopping a little bit, so it's probably more difficult for him.
It's just so much easier to rest at night knowing he's there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That sleep schedule needs to go back to normal somehow.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
But he's been on nights for quite a few years, right? Even previous to this job?
Yeah.
So, definitely a change there.
Yeah, and you mentioned Coleman helping out, and it's so much different at night. Then you add that freezing element that we had last night. That takes that Coors to a different level.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're delivering that grain. It's 5 degrees outside. You got some freezing. And Jason I picked up a new tip from him yesterday, and I was kind of wowed by it. You're going to like this one, Jim. How many trucks have we seen come in with just grain just frozen to the back of the trailer and inch thick ice hanging out of it from all of that, because inevitably that grain is draining out as we're driving out there, right?
And freezing, it's building.
Yeah. So you just have this pile of crap stuck to the back of your trailer. And Jason explained to Coleman yesterday, hey, when you dump that material out, just leave the trailer sit there in that pile a few minutes, 2 minutes.
The very same heat from the pile.
Let the heat out of that pile. It melts everything off the back of that trailer. And he said, the minute you pull out of the pile, drop the trailer, he said, run back there. And he said, you can just sweep everything right off the back of the trailer.
Yeah, very nice.
You can clean the gasket. You can clean. And I'm like,
I told him.
It's
I
like,
says, you're freaking genius, Jason.
right, Dave? It makes you feel like, you know what I mean? Like, why didn't I think of that? Why haven't we been explaining that?
That's experience.
That is
That's experience
yeah.
talking.
But that's shared knowledge that we need to share, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
if I ever had to jump in the middle of winter and go do a night run like that,
right?
I'll remember this.
Right.
Yep.
Or today.
Or just delivering a preload early in the morning.
Yeah.
It's 5 degrees.
Yeah,
got
well,
that,
that's
you
what I
know?
mean. Today, right now.
Yeah.
You know?
And then correct me, Super Dave. We have Neil training because hopefully Neil's listening to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He's training to go to nights and run Coors, and
He is.
and it just takes a different attitude. It doesn't mean it needs to be a special person. It's just a different attitude and thinking to get through the night. Like, leaving it in the pile, melting the ice off of it. It's that cold. It's just good stuff. So excited to get Neil trained up and finish training and have him do the nights.
Absolutely. Just kind of piggybacking on that and just a thought that came by, guys, but this is for everybody and anybody that's here, because at some point we're going to go somewhere where we have not been to, especially a dairy.
Mm-hmm.
GPS is not such a bad thing. However, guys, we give you guys a binder from day one with directions. And if you're doing Coors, we give you a separate binder with directions. And those directions are specific to maybe the way the dairy wants you to come in or dump or whatever, but it's also specific as to which way we have to come in. And GPS, as Jason said it last night, he's like, you can put in certain directions or certain dairies for this into your GPS, and it'll give you a different way than what the book tells you.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You got to follow directions in the way the book tells you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll jump out and off the cliff there, JR, and I'll personal shout out to Neil as he's training. I've heard he uses his GPS for everything, and that's not going to work on Coors because we've had accidents. We've had people following their GPS, especially in the dark, especially out in the area. You need to know your route. You need to memorize your route. You need to memorize that, hey, there's a turn up there. I can't see it because it's pitch black and there is no street lights. And my GPS isn't telling me shit about it.
Yep.
I have to memorize that run. You also need to keep the same path. Instead of, just like you're saying, JR, instead of letting the GPS change your path up every round, stick to the same path. The ground's hard. It gets plowed. It's not muddy. You have, you can make a big right or left hand turn. You can do all that. GPS isn't telling you that shit. So once you're there, once you've been there, you used your GPS to help you out, drop the GPS shit and drive there. Use your skills and do it. So Neil, that's not a shot at you, buddy. It's just going to make you better, especially on nights. You get rid of that GPS.
Yeah, and we've had a handful of people apply for that too, or talk about night Coors.
Yeah. But I know we've had several wrecks so far because of the GPS. We've had overweights on the wrong roads. We've had C470 taken. We had a lot. That's what my GPS said. That's what my
the tollway.
GPS said. And just, help you out to get to a brand new address, learn it, and then, pick your route.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's part of any truck driver's, tools that we got to go to is review your route. I believe GPS is great. If I'm going somewhere new, I like to review the satellite image. It might be misdated, a little bit,
Right. Oh,
but
totally,
at least it gives me a good idea of what I'm going to.
Yeah.
And maybe even some landmarks.
Yep.
Like, there's a McDonald's where I'm going to turn.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I know where to go.
Yeah.
But,
I must be getting close. There's the McDonald's.
Yeah.
Right, JR?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to do it for kind of like you mentioned, a storefront. Oh, that's what's next to it.
Yeah.
Just like you're saying, a landmark.
Yeah. Following it to a T can definitely get you. So.
Yeah. And that's a new tool for the younger guys. I mean, we had to use a map book. They get privilege of using GPS. Nothing wrong with it, but it has its faults, right?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. More shout outs here. We got Scooby that wants to give a shout out to Sergio for a great job on the water tanker. So the times that Sergio's been doing it, he's been doing a really good job at it. And also leaving that valve open so that way we don't have anything freezing in there and it's allowed to drip out and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Also for Dustin Jr. for just doing it right and getting it done at such a young age. And we've all seen him, go from the wash bay to the mechanics. to be a mechanic, and then going down now to the point where he's a driver and he's just getting it done.
Yeah.
You know, he's anxious. I believe it's April when his birthday comes up to go. He wants to go to
Utah.
Redmond.
Yeah.
He wants to go over the road.
You know, we've got to go even farther back than that, JR. We remember him riding around with Dustin Sr. when he was like 10.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he was little. And then as the years went by, he was as big as Dustin Sr. And we're like, whoa, I haven't seen you in a few months.
Yeah. It's amazing how
was
they
a lot
grow.
of fun.
Jam hadn't seen my son in quite a while already, and he saw him on Sunday at church, and he's like, whoa, you've grown. For a 10-year-old, I was like, yeah, check out his hands. They're bigger than mine.
That's the same thing when you know, see Bella, you know, how quickly she's grown in it. And I've only seen her recently in a picture when they were shooting bows, and I'm like, wow, she's getting tall.
Yeah.
You know, it's just amazing how quickly kids grow.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I'd like to give a shout out to Lexi and the Wash Bay. Last week, you know, we were in a rush to hurry up and get the truck with the tipper set up and all that. And we went out, did some loads, got it working, and a couple of missed opportunities for some good pictures. And unfortunately, not because of the location or the weather, because the truck was just not looking as pristine as what we're looking for, you know? So we got back that night, myself and Chili Dog, which also shout out to him. I know Jam gave him that shout out last week, but you know, we got into the fuel island and I was fueling, and I wanted to park it on the side of the truck, or on the side of the building. But, you know, I was like, you know what? It's looking kind of dirty. And I saw Lexi and the crew working. And I was like, hey, do you guys mind washing this truck and giving it the JFW touch? And they're like, oh, absolutely. And next day, Andrick was able to come into a brand new truck to go do to go service those customers.
Yeah.
Which we are new to them. So it's nothing like seeing a brand new, shiny truck and trailer for the first time, you know, saying,
Agreed,
oh, wow, this is the new company that's going to service our tippers or whatever we're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good, you know, thank you, JR, for bringing that up. Lexi taking care of it, you know, and Andrick doing a good job. And have we got to get, I know last week we were so busy and all the other stuff, but Andrick, he's running the tipper truck. That's his main thing. I mean, he volunteered, and it's all that there's something that's all new. This is the guy that's going to become Jason, you know, that's going to learn all the tips and tricks, and, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, you know, oh, this raises up here like that. So, you know, quick shout out to Andrick for taking on that and learning, you know, a virgin.
Yep. And absolutely, Jim. And what a great guy to choose and to have volunteered for this, because he's got great customer service skills. You know, every place we went to, whether it's the owners, the management, or, you know, the brew manager, whatever it is, like, they've come out and they've introduced themselves, and he introduces himself to them. And, you know, it's a person that's going to build relationships. And a lot of these places, they've mentioned that literally. We want to build a good relationship with you. And that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
And what a unique, really, situation. You know, a lot of people don't know the shop, Mikey, built a truck that has external hoses on it, a diverter valve. We show up, we unroll 30 feet of hoses, we plug into a hydraulic unit on the side of a facility, engage our PTO, and then we stand there and run a lever, and we're dumping this. It's like a small tandem box. You know what I mean? More or less. It's a small tandem bed.
Multiple different ways, Dave.
Yeah,
like
or on tires and axles. I mean, you kind of got every combination there. But yeah, I mean, it's really, for doing this for a living, it's like, wow, that's some bizarre shit. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't.
It is
I knew
definitely
what we were doing. I knew what was going
Dave.
on. I knew how it was going to work, right? All of that. When they came to us, I'm like, okay, we need this, this, and this, right? You know, and Mikey, of course, built it like he always does. And it's just kind of surreal almost. You know?
I love the versatility, you know, the versatility of doing different things. You know, it's as simple as when I was driving with pulling a rock tub, going to different plants, or even going to a different job site like that kept it interesting. And then we go to the pneumatic trailers. That was a whole other division, whole different type of job. It was interesting and fun to learn something new. And then we go to the super tandem, something way different again also. And now we have the tippers, you know?
Yeah.
It just keeps us on our toes, I think.
Right.
And I got one last shout out, and this is from Francisco Alvarez to his wife. He sent me a text message this morning saying, JR, buenos dias. I have a shout out for the podcast today, and it's for my wife. So this message is for Francisco's wife. I just want to wish my wife a happy birthday. I know it was this past Monday, but either way, the kids and I, we had a blast spending another one of your birthdays with you. I know we don't want to keep getting older and wish we could stay young forever, but being able to be alive to celebrate another birthday is a blessing. I love you.
Oh,
Really, really nice message there, and happy birthday to Francisco's wife again.
yeah, that's outstanding. Happy birthday.
That's kind of cool that he's got this platform. I mean, it's going out. He's, you know, what's the word about? He's pledged his love to his wife, to all of us. Not embarrassed of it, not nothing, proud of it. And yeah, that's really cool. Good job, Francisco.
I wish I had a message like this.
Right? Or a wife like that, right?
Right. No, what I think is really cool, though, is he's sending a message to his wife, so she must listen.
Yeah.
So it's really great to know that a spouse is listening. So that's awesome. Any other shout outs, guys?
I got mine in.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Going into the discussion, guys, Dispatch would like to put out that let's turn in tickets every round and every day, guys. I know sometimes it's easier or the easy button, especially if you're doing the same plant. Let's just say, for example, we're doing LG sand to plant 2. It just seems easier to just, keep doing your rounds, not stopping, not pausing, dumping. And we always say, consistency and efficiency, that's what's going to make money around here. However, these plants do need their tickets, and it's especially important because, this is your pay. This is the way that we get to pay you on time, and not only for you, but also for JFW. We got to put in them tickets and turn them into Brandon so we get paid as well, Our pay is your pay. So let's make sure that we're turning in those tickets every round, every day, and let's do it every round just because simply you don't know if you're going to get switched up, especially right now with the weather. Plant 2 might have 1,000 yards, and all of a sudden by 10 a.m., everything gets cuts off. So if that's the case, then we got to cut you off or anybody else that's on the road or on the way.
Or if your truck breaks.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I have an interesting fact on that, JR. And, everybody listening, you're probably going to go, well, how come you don't fix it? Or how come you don't take care of it? Or how come you don't do something different? So we get Brandon, we're fortunate enough that they pay us on the 10th and the 25th of each month, and they're only a couple weeks behind, which helps our cash flow, and probably couldn't even do the amount of work we do without that. So thank you, Brandon. But they pay us basically off all the tickets from the scale houses, because most of the pits we haul out of are their scale houses. So they have a report, or they get a download from LG Everest or whatever. But what I'm leading up to is I'm going to tell you every check. So the 10th and the 25th, and finds that there's 10 to 15 tickets that Brandon pays us that the drivers never turned in. The driver never gets paid. And you're going to ask, do we go back and find that driver and pay that driver? No, we don't. We don't. So there's 10 to 15 tickets every pay period that a driver hasn't get turned in, we never knew about, and Brandon pays us and the driver never gets paid.
And is that because Brandon trusts us?
And it's because it's the scale house report. It is the most accurate way to pay us. That load has been scaled, and we never turn it in to us. It's not on our list that a driver's ever turned in. And for years, you guys, we all know, me and Dave just talked about it. I mean, how many times do you hear, I don't make enough money. I'm not making enough money. I need more money and everything like that. But we have 10 to 15 loads twice a month that nobody ever claims. They hauled them and never gets turned in. And that's just, it's unbelievable to me that happens. So
the thing is, we've paid you already.
I was about to ask that. Are we paying the driver for those tickets?
No.
So they're missing that.
They're missing. That's what I'm getting at. We don't know anything about them. JFW has never seen the ticket. and Brandon
And
pays
it
us.
shows up.
Huh, I'm $100 short. Whatever.
Exactly,
Right?
JR, exactly. And we don't take the time and try to find out whose ticket that was. We quit doing it.
It's just a lot of work doing that.
It is a lot of work. And,
things.
I'm just saying that there's probably over 20 to 30 tickets every month that the driver just doesn't turn in. They don't even know they don't get paid for it.
It goes back to, you have to care more than what we care.
Yep.
I tell these guys over and over, you got to treat your scale tickets just like your paycheck, because it is.
Yep.
And they don't.
No.
Was it Erica was looking for tickets yesterday or something, and I flat out asked, did they blow out the window? Because we've had that happen before too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or I've gone into a truck, because I'm slip seating that day and found a ticket from a month ago behind the passenger seat.
Absolutely, Dave. Or you cleaned the trash out.
Exactly.
And in the trash is a ticket.
You're looking for a registration, and it's like, why is there 2 tickets in here?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, crazy. So crazy fact in my book, but we're still doing that.
I just find it crazy that drivers not noticing it.
Not notice it. They don't know, JR. Yep.
All right. The next topic here is going to be the Cemex safety. Guys, we do Cemex loads, and for those of you that have done that, you guys all know what that, the site-specific safety video we got to watch up there, and the way they want us to do things up there. That's just one of those places that we're under a microscope, given, the political temperature up there or whatever's going on. But we're just being watched on a whole different level than what we're used to. We had an incident yesterday where one of our veteran drivers, was pretty much told to leave the site,
Yep.
facility, for doing
Got
something
kicked out.
Yeah, for doing something that in my opinion is normal.
That
to
we
us.
promote
Right.
to provide good service for the customer.
Exactly.
And keep
And
going, JR.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, he was actually making it safer for them and us
Yes.
by making sure the trailer was empty.
Yes.
It's some of our customers are frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely something that has never been told to us. I
No.
think that's the disappointing part of being told to leave a site for this specific reason, and it's never even been told to us about it.
Yeah.
It's not in the site-specific video. In fact,
No.
the site-specific video there pretty much has nothing to do with truck driving or what we do.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
more their on-site safety, lockout, tag out, that kind of stuff. If there's anything I got from that video that had to do with truck drivers, more than anything was follow the route that you need to be on and make sure you're doing the speed limit.
Yeah, absolutely, JR. It's like the video's for making a cake and we're making burritos.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah. It's just a little upsetting. And I know that our teammate was upset about it. He was frustrated, and that's because he cares.
Absolutely.
He prides himself on
Absolutely.
doing things the right way.
He has a track record of doing it right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Constantly. So,
Yeah.
And we have to defend him on this one, but it sucks because it doesn't matter to the customer.
Right.
You know what I mean? It defending him to our customer is a moot point when the customer won't accept the defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tough call. So
It really is. So I think it had a lot to do with the delivery as well. It was as if something really, really horrible happened.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, hey, bud, you can't do this. It was more of a kind of like almost telling him you're a dumbass for doing this.
yeah,
Get
what
off
were
my
you
site.
thinking? Get out of here.
Yeah. Just
I mean, trust me, I got
disappointing.
the same verbiage direct from the supervisor when he called me, and it yeah, it's so hard not to take a customer like that and just go off, and we can't, right? Those customers are near and dear to support our family, to support our team, to support our company, to support all the families that work here. And it's something, I guess in my eyes, we just move past it. And in a month, that driver can probably go right back.
Yeah, nobody will.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Take the high road, Dave.
There you go.
I did
It's
very,
very, very hard.
on the phone call. I was just like, okay, All right. Bye.
That
was it.
He did Super Dave, but he missed the split on the one going from the low side to the high side. He ground second gear then.
Oh, no.
It was a bit.
Lost all his momentum,
Dropped 2 more gears.
Right, but still ended up on the high road. Yeah, tough one.
And in those situations, it's not worth arguing with someone.
Yeah.
It's really not.
In that temperament, in that position, at that time, you know what I mean? I'll get it taken care of. I'll get it fixed. We'll get it fixed. And, we can drive home the point of our safety and our safety record and how we do things and the service we provide for that customer, because that customer specializes in making their product. They don't specialize in delivering loads.
Mm-hmm.
We specialize in delivering loads and materials.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So without mentioning names, you know who you are. Hang in there. It's truly not a big deal. I understand how bad it sucks. I apologize. You had to endure that and we'll just move on. It'll all go away like it always does.
Water under the bridge.
Yeah.
There will be water under the bridge.
Yeah.
It's because I already called my buddy Vinny. He's going to take care of it.
That's good, Dave. Thanks, man.
That was a good commercial, but it wasn't just Super Bowl. The Fresh Pet one.
Oh, yeah.
The guy comes in
yeah.
and they get rid of him because that's not dog food. What's it in the refrigerator for?
Oh,
They're put him in the trunk. Yeah.
Tell him you were at grandma's house.
I don't know why. I just imagine Joe Pesci's voice.
Oh, yeah.
Whack. Right? All right. Next topic from Scooby. He'd like to bring up mud flaps, everybody. Mud flaps is definitely one of those deals that comes up quite constantly, and I walk by there at least every other Monday, or every Monday I have orientation every morning. Hey, here's our mud flap station, and here's where we have all the old mud flaps and all the new ones. And I don't know how many deliveries we've seen of brand new piles, 40, 50 mud flaps, whatever it is. I can't even imagine how much we're paying for those, but we are going through them like they're Starburst candy or something like that. We got to do better than that, guys. I tell everybody that's starting here on day one of the key aspects of end dumping is that you learn not to tear those things off. One is not backing up to the pile all the way, so you're not pinching it between the tire and the pile. And the other one is make sure that you're locking up your trailer when you're bringing it back down so it doesn't roll over itself. Something he's noticed that Scooby mentioned was that he'll see a trailer that has 2 new mud flaps when originally it had just one bad one good one. And essentially they're switching out both of them so they look brand new or that they are brand new. We don't necessarily have to do that, guys. And if you do tear one off, let's just put it back up into the bracket, tighten it up, and it usually lasts at least a day, or turn it around, do the upside down part, drill in the holes. We got a drill press and reuse that mud flap. Let's use our resources wisely instead of just going straight to the brand new one. I think most of that has to do with, there's a brand new one here. It's easy just to put that one on.
Yeah.
Versus taking a little bit more time to drill new holes in the old one.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dave. I was just going to say, I once was at a landfill delivering a load of contaminated dirt or something, I don't know, and the truck sunk in and I pulled a mud flap off, and I had some tools with me, so I thought, okay, I'm going to throw this thing on and get through the day, right? That mud flap stayed on for 2 more years. I'd never touched it. So you can reuse a mud flap.
Yeah.
Just tighten it up, put it up in there good, and get it good and tight.
I was just going to say we're going to have to start taking that pile of brand new mud flaps and pretending it's like medication at Walmart.
I told Scooby we got to check them out.
Yeah, it's behind glass, and you need a supervisor to come get it, and you're on a list. Here, you got your one set for free, and the rest are on you.
Start an Excel file. Yep. How many times have you gotten it, and what's the trend?
Yeah, I bet we'd be mind boggled.
Yeah,
right. Just keeping track. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Same thing with the if because some of the drivers do get some of those mud flaps and they want to replace the flaps that are in front of the fenders, in front of the tires. They're like the quarter size flaps, whatever it is.
Yeah. And
they'll take a new mud flap and cut that one up. Let's use some of the old ones, let's use what's there already and get those on those pieces instead of cutting up a brand new, good mud flap.
Yeah.
So
I do want to emphasize how if you change something back there, please keep everything uniform looking. You know what I mean? Don't have a 32-inch mud flap on one side and a 26-inch mud flap on the other side, because it just looks bad. Whether one's old or new, it doesn't matter, but be sure the little knobs are to the inside, the little
nubbies.
Anti-spray.
the little nubbies.
There's a picture over there that shows you that.
There is. Yep, exactly. And yeah, think about when the state patrolman stops you to do a safety inspection and you have 3 different mud flaps back there as he's walking up to the truck. What is that? That speaks volumes, right? Like, oh my gosh, this guy he doesn't even have a uniform piece of equipment, right? The state patrol doesn't have 3 different tires on his car. We don't want 3 different type mud flaps, so when, we're sitting here in one breath saying, hey, if you tear one off, don't put 2 new ones on, but make sure the new one and the old one are uniform.
Yeah.
That way, after you haul a load or 2 or a couple days, they're going to look identical.
And you can also look in the old scrap pile. There might be one that matches better than the brand new one, and you just have to trim it and it matches your other one.
Right.
There's a lot of alternatives. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. It's, I don't know. It's just one of those things where, like, how are we losing so many, and the way I see it, I don't want to lose it because that's a loss of money. We have to have a mud flap on our trailer.
Absolutely.
If you don't have the tools to fix it on site, you have to take the time to come to the yard and put another one on or put the same one on, whatever you got to do. You don't get paid for that time. We don't pay for that time, so that's loss of money and time and a loss of a load. It doesn't take very long. And for those of you guys that are babying a mud flap that's possibly hanging off of 3 bolts or even 2, or you see that it's starting to come off or whatever, let's take care of it right then and there. It's so much easier to take care of it. Doesn't take more than 5 minutes to do, especially if you got some help. Usually if we're walking by, we'll lend a hand. It's usually easier that way. But let's get it taken care of and not wait till the morning. It's in the morning it should be, hey, my truck should be ready, bumping tires, checking fluids, lights, license plates, all that stuff. And let's get to work. That's the whole morning pre-trip part. Post-trip is to make sure that your truck is good to go for the next day.
Yep.
All right, moving on. The next topic is going to be cameras and QR codes and some of the drivers having trouble signing in. I know this is one of the questions from the audience, or at least a comment that was mentioned, how some of the guys are having some issues with signing in. What I've noticed on some of these things, guys, is that you're moving the camera, or I should say your QR code, you're moving it around too fast, or you're too close or too far, whatever it is. So just have a little patience, start up about an inch away from the lens and bring it back to about 4 or 5 inches and keep it there for at least, 15, 20 seconds. Usually it will log you in that way. However, I have ran into Troy Holmes brought this up, that his camera's not letting him log in. He's just having issues. And I went out there and replicated the issue, and we tried it on another truck. He at least he did, and it signed him in real quick. So that tells me that something's wrong with the camera. The camera's recording, it's still doing its job throughout the day, but for some reason it doesn't want to pick up his QR code. So I won't know anything, or any of us won't know anything unless you say something. And you got to mention it to one of us, and we'll get a support ticket put in. Maybe it just needs a reset from their end, or they need to send us a new camera, something. So let's get that done. And don't let the camera sign in hinder you from starting to drive. It doesn't mean you can't drive. You can. It's going to be a little annoying because it's going to be beeping at you and telling you, hey, sign in.
I think it's about once every 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's set something like that until you actually do it. And we can have different settings on it. That's something we'll discuss as well. I know Rob White, they're sitting at a, especially him, he's sitting at the plant almost all day, just blowing in the pneumatic trailers into the silos. And that's just constantly telling him, sign in, sign in, sign in. Because once there is no movement for 30 minutes, it's going to prompt you to sign in again. Yeah. And the whole point behind that is, if I get in at the end of the day and it doesn't sign me out, the mechanic moves it, or one of the safety director takes it to the Kenworth, Peterbilt, that logs on as a drive for you, whoever was signed in last. So we try to keep that minimal, so that way you're not getting hit on somebody else's score or their way of driving.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Other things could be, just a dirty lens. Take a soft cloth or something like that to the lens and just clean it off a little bit. That's always something. And also sun glare. If you're facing the sun, that could affect the glare off your phone and how it's, there's so many aspects on how you can sign in or how it's having issues with that. So,
JR, do you think it helps? I mean, I took, it felt like such a small little QR code. I did a screenshot of mine and then I blew it up, and made it the full size of my phone screen. And then I did a screenshot of that. So when I log in, I mean, like you literally hold it up there. And obviously, I know you said like Troy couldn't get logged in on his truck. There was problem after problem after problem. He went to the next truck and bleep, it just logged in. Do you think the size of the QR code would help?
Maybe because he had a printout where it was pretty big. I'd say that QR code was the size of like maybe 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So it was pretty big.
Yeah.
And he says that was the only way he was able to sign in for a while until it just stopped working for him.
Interesting.
However, I did do a little research on the Samsara Help Center, and it was just saying, hey, it needs to be this size. So it's actually smaller on there. So I don't know if by blowing it up, it deteriorates or it blurs out the QR code.
Totally.
I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
I haven't run into the issue myself anytime I've gotten into the truck. We just got to look at our phones. If your phone is kind of dirty from fingerprints or you got a screensaver that's just very reflective, especially during the day, it's going to give you some issues, I think.
Yeah.
But in his case, I think there's a camera issue. So I have a support ticket put in, and whether it's a reset or them sending us a new one, we just got to get it done.
Yeah. Just like you said, JR, please get with us so we can fix it. Because our goal is to have you hold that up, click in and go. We're not after spending 5 minutes.
Of course. Yeah. Don't let it keep you where you need to be or, what you need to be doing.
Well, how frustrating.
It is.
I mean, you get in, you're like, you want to go trucking, and it's like, I've done my pre-trip, I've done my inspection, I've warmed up my truck, I've checked all my tires. It's like, I can't get effing logged in. This is BS. I'd be like frustrated, like, dude, I fight this every single day, but we need to know, right?
Right.
That way we can fix it. So
yeah, and I know not necessarily a question from the audience, but Jose Barraza had mentioned, why does it keep telling me while I'm driving that I need to sign in? And he kind of clarified in the comments with some of our other teammates that, it was after 20 minutes. And when we have it set at 30 minutes, technically it's 30 minutes. And then if there has been no movement, not that the truck was on or off, just no movement, it's going to prompt you to sign in again.
yeah.
The thing with that, and what I've come across, especially the guys that are, the rock tubs that are doing the snow yard and they're kind of moving at 5 miles an hour. Mike Cisneros had mentioned that last storm that, hey, we're moving around in the yard, but it's telling me to sign in. So I'm wondering if there's a speed thing that's associated to that.
Yeah.
So that might be it, because he mentioned, Jose Barraza mentioned that he was in the pit when this happened. So maybe the movement in the pit, whether it's under 10 miles an hour, is probably not registering it as movement.
Yeah.
So we just got to keep that in check there. So, I mean, if you're driving already and it tells you to sign in, pull over if you like and sign in. Otherwise, I mean, if it was me, I'd just be like, you know what? I'll just sign in whenever I get to the plant. Yeah. It's not a big deal. Now, if I'm coming down from Fairplay and I got an hour and a half to come down here, I'm probably going to pull over and get that done because I don't want it yelling at me the whole time.
Yeah.
With the camera QR codes, and since we're kind of talking about Samsara and all that, guys, for you guys that are signing into the Samsara driver app, especially the guys that are going up to Redmond and using ELD, guys, I can't stress enough, guys, make sure you log out when you are done. If you're going up to Redmond and you finished your run for the day and you're at the hotel or you're back here, please, please, please log out of the app. For anybody that's logging in just to check their Samsara scores, that's the same thing. When we're going through this, log out. And the whole reason behind this, guys, is because if a mechanic uses your truck or somebody moves your truck or anything like that, if you stay signed in, this is especially for the Redmond drivers or out of state, it's going to log a drive time. So if you got in at 3 p.m. and you're looking to leave at 2 in the morning, you're not going to be able to go because your app is going to say, hey, there's a violation. You can't start right now because somebody moved your truck at 10 p.m.
Right.
So let's make sure we're logging out. Part of the log out process is that the app itself makes sure to go off duty and certify any logs you haven't certified, things like that. So please log out at the end of every day or when you're done with your session. Next is going to be tailgate latches and freezing weather. What does it do to loads? I think this is a big one, especially for the coolers. During this time of year, we tend to see a lot of that frozen material on the seals, especially after we dump. We got to make sure those seals are actually cleaned off, because any little bit of debris there that can keep the gate open just a little bit, it won't let your dog latches actually latch all the way. You know, we talk about if you can remind me here, what do we call the elbow? The cam over. There you go. And I'll be sending out that video since we're talking about it, but we have a cam over video of what to check for, and you're looking underneath the fenders to make sure that those elbows and those cams are actually camming over all the way up to the fender.
Yeah, because what's hard to understand about that, JR, is the dogs look closed. They're over the pins or the rods or the bars that are on the gate, and we call it a dog ear. Like we've talked years ago, I don't know where that came from, but that latch has to come over that bar, and it may look like it's over the bar, or basically it is over the bar, but like you're going to say in that, or, you know, send out in that video, you know, that 1/4 inch, that 1/8 of an inch may stop the latches from camming over. It's a snap action that it goes past perfectly straight to cammed over. It takes a lot of pressure, which is one of the air cylinders, to snap it back past that being cammed over to open your dogs. And that action there is when the trailer runs out of air, or if you have an accident or anything like that, the mechanical part of that stays cammed over and keeps your latches closed no matter what happens.
The way I think of it, Jim, is like vice grips. You know, you use vice grips to grab onto something, and it's not just about grabbing onto something, but it's to where you have to squeeze it enough to where it locks into place, and that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, and to have air, or to have, you know, that cylinder, that's the same thing to unlatch those vice grips, because we've all taken a set of vice grips once we've cammed them over and pinched them on something and then tried to undo them. And that usually gets your finger, or you snap off or drop them or something. So good analogy.
Yep. All right, and the next one here is going to be Samsara speeding trends, and
what?
You know, I think we're going to talk about this, especially, you know, with the new feature that a lot of people don't even know about it, or haven't even cared to use it on the new red frames and the long nose trucks, and that would.
Did you verify that?
I did.
Nice.
They all have them, so
because of the digital dash.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, 18 and 19 are our oldest long noses, right? And they have it, so definitely the guys over at the R23 have it as well.
Okay.
But you know, we're talking about how speeding is the biggest issue we see for everybody, you know, and that's mainly what's keeping everybody to, you know, from a 90 score or 95 is just their speeding. We understand that some of us don't like to use cruise control, whether it be because it's traffic or I like to be in control or whatever. Well, when you're using your foot pedal, your accelerator, you know, your foot's not as perfect as the computer's going to be. However, we got a nice little tool in all the brand new trucks, and it's called a speed limiter.
I want to call them red frame trucks, because that covers every single one, JR.
Right.
56 trucks. We have 56 trucks that have this.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's right there by your cruise control controls. You know, you have to have the cruise control option on, or at least the system is on, but you're not going to use the cruise control function of it, but rather you're going to use the buttons that say limit plus or lim minus, and you're technically setting a speed and governing yourself. You know, we've gone far enough to govern the trucks at 70 with your foot pedal and 72 with the cruise control. But if you're going through an area that's, you know, 55, you can set your own limiter on there, so that way you can use your foot pedal and it will not let you go faster than that. So it's just a great feature for those of us that are having issues controlling our speeding or anything like that. And, you know, that I think that would be a great tool for a lot of them, for anybody that has not been using it. And that probably will help them increase their speeding score.
JR, I would use it all the time. I mean, I'd heard you guys talk about that, and I was just of the assumption that it was part of our cruise control. And then in our meeting yesterday, when I participated in that, I laughed to myself like, oh my gosh, we have things on the truck I'm not even aware of. You know, I felt kind of stupid, like, oh my gosh, like we're speccing these trucks and I don't even know that's an option, but it's not like that's just a standard option. It just comes with it, right? It's not like Jim and I sat down and said, hey, we want that, right? It's just part of the package that we get by pure coincidence. And when you were describing it yesterday, I mean, I finally had to pipe up and ask and go, it does what? What? I wasn't even clear what a limiter was. And when I found out it's a governor, I'm like, that is a win-win. I would use that thing everywhere, like everywhere, man. It would, and as fast as you can change it, I think it's just outstanding because it just keeps you in control. You can't screw up if you're using that.
Yeah.
So yeah, 56 of the trucks, every red frame truck we have, all the 7 hoods, the 16 red frames we got 2 years ago, and then the 33 red frames we got this year. So all of those trucks have that. 56 trucks have that.
Well, as the saying goes, if you didn't know, now you know.
Right?
So you do learn something every day, right?
Every
I mean,
day,
I thought it was
Dave.
kind of funny because I didn't know about it. Super Dave didn't know. Jim didn't know. I was like, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one that didn't know.
Our teammate yesterday didn't know.
Right. And that's someone that sits in the truck every day and has the tool that he's not using, and shame on us for not promoting that. I would have been promoting that I'm in love with it already, right? I would seriously use it down Highway 85 all the time.
We had the conversation yesterday after the meeting is that, there's people that will just get into a vehicle and just go, it's
Right.
just, hey, it turns on and put it under drive and that's all I know about it. But then there's other individuals that will see all the buttons, all the gauges, and we're like, okay, what does this do? What does that do? What does this tell me, And
Yep.
Yeah.
we got to get more intimate with our equipment.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Cause I guarantee you there's some drivers in those 56 trucks that they're looking down at the steering wheel going, oh, that's what that does. I guarantee you we have that, right?
Yep.
I wonder if the Western Stars have it. Their red frame truck. I'm kind of screwing up now. And I don't have those on my 56 trucks. That's the reason I'm asking. It just hit me.
That'd be interesting if they do.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm, when I say all red frame trucks, I guess I need to find out about the Western Stars.
Yeah.
That is a good question. Yeah. I don't know.
The red frame Kenworths and Pete's definitely, but I don't know about the Western Stars. Huh. Interesting.
Good point.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they have it, that's 61 trucks
Yeah.
that have it. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff right there. Another tool to help you earn your bonus, help you stay in control. Just that little bit, another tool, another piece of the pie, another here's some more help to help you be better.
Yeah.
And if you guys need clarification, come and look for us, guys. We don't know. If you don't know something, we don't know you don't know.
Right.
Until we know.
Yeah. Yeah. If
So
you're having
let us
trouble
know.
logging into your Samsara with the QR code, we don't know and we need to know.
Right.
Because we want that to be simple. That needs to be simple.
So I know last week we went, I provided Jam with some stats and, what our trend was and all that. So just for the month of February, we're 12 days in, guys, from the 1st to the 12th now. Our safety score is holding steady at an average of 94 for the fleet. And I believe all 4 weekend groups are groups, Team Awesome Sauce, Team Living on a Budget. I forget what Erica's
Red, white,
is.
and rigged.
Red, white, and rigged. And then aggregate, Casey's aggregate something.
What are they? Aggregate,
Aggregate relocating engineers.
Right?
Sorry, I was looking up because we used to always say that, yeah.
right, Dave?
So all of us our groups are averaging 94,
Wow.
for all 4 on the safety side of things. And as far as the driver efficiency score as a fleet for the same, just February we're averaging a 91, which is really good. That's gone up.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
low 80s.
Yep.
And as far as the groups go, we're pretty much at 91 as well. 90 and 91. So
Wow.
That's awesome.
bad.
Outstanding.
Yes,
so
it is.
We're seeing that trend go up. And if you go into individuals, some of the guys that have had issues with speeding, you see that they're on an upward trend. So they are trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
We're in the month of February. This is the last free month, so to speak, as far as our safety bonus goes. Because once March 1st hits, we hope that we'd given you enough time, which I believe we have, to basically figure out your scores and see how that works. Am I not correct?
I thought it was April 1st. I thought we were giving them March, JR, but I
have to go back.
Yeah, because we did our meeting in January. I think we talked about February and March
giving them like almost 90
two
days.
months.
Okay.
So I think April 1st. It's not. I mean, it's a good for them. Even
Okay. So
yeah.
blame my
Yeah,
last.
win-win-
You got
win-win
an extra
for
month to
every-
figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
win-win for everyone else. I mean,
Yeah.
we're paying you whether you earn it or not.
Yeah.
That was our goal because we're not after screwing anyone. We got to emphasize that.
Yeah.
We're after making everyone better, man. And if people can't see that, shame on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what just by those, JR, is we have, however you put the stats, almost everybody is getting an 8% bonus.
Yeah.
At this point, an 8% bonus at this point. And I know it'll be a discussion, and I know you said it's trending up here, and, talking to you guys, how people can change their scores by the points. But as far as I know, and I'm going to say April 1st, JR, that we're going to reset the scores. Everybody's going to start at 0. The last 2 months are not going to count. However you've been driving, you should have learned in this month and next how to drive, what it takes to get, a 95 in both those.
There.
Yep. In both those areas, you're going to start from 0 and build.
Of course.
So it should be easily attainable. I'm going to use the word
easily. Can you imagine a day
easily.
having a podcast and saying our safety score average as a fleet is like 96 and our driver efficiency is a 97?
Yeah.
That both of those
Yeah.
departments are over 95?
Yeah.
Man.
That
Sets us apart.
When
Yeah.
JR answered
That's
me
going to
this,
be some amazing drivers.
yeah, because I log in obviously in a different way. When you log in a driver, can you see the other driver scores?
You can only see the top 10 for safety.
Top 10.
So if you log into Samsara driver app and you go check your scores and you scroll all the way down, you'll see a list of the top 10 drivers.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
I think top 10 are all at 100. So-
Gotcha.
and I didn't mention it earlier, but your fellow teammates are setting the bar.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for the very few that are saying this is BS or it
can't
doesn't
be
work,
done.
it can't be
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
You have over 100 other drivers that are doing it, and
Yeah.
they're not just in an aluminum end dump. They're not just in bulkers.
Yeah.
They're in super 10. It can be done.
I mean, you touched on the stats a little while ago. Of the 4 groups, doesn't each group have at least 5 to 10 that are over 95 in both departments?
Well, Eric,
I'd say minimum, yeah.
Eric
Yeah.
has got 12.
So, I mean, if there's
Yeah.
I
Same,
can't,
I've got
I
like
can't believe
12.
everybody's not about the same.
If there's 4 groups and they have 10 to 12 each, I mean, there's 40 drivers right
Yeah.
now we're talking
that
about.
are getting a 9%
40
bonus.
to 50 that are achieving over 95,
Yep.
and they're taking home a 9% safety bonus.
Yep.
Bam. Good
Yep.
job.
Don't aim for 90, aim for 95 or higher.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong that way.
Yeah, why would
aim
you want
high
the
and
$8 raise when there's a $10 raise on the table?
Yeah.
it's all in your hands.
Yeah, right. You eat what you kill around here.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, seriously, look at me smiling. I can't stop smiling. I love this program. I love it. I love it because of the engagement,
Yeah.
and it's working.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
working.
Whether you're upset about it or happy about it, we've engaged you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the good thing about it.
Yes.
Absolutely, guys. So yeah, I guess this kind of brings us into our safety topic of the week. I have down commercial vehicle speed management. That's just because that's our biggest issue, right? Some of these things that you can work at or at least think about is you risk more over being late. Sometimes rushing, Super Dave, you like to say it all the time, waste makes haste, right?
Haste.
Almost.
Haste makes
Sorry,
waste. I got it backwards. Coffee's kicking in. Anyhow, yeah, I mean, you're not going to get anywhere faster by speeding. How much time have you actually saved by coming down Genesee Hill 4 miles faster than the guy that's actually doing it, right? And
Right.
it's minimal. And I always like to use the example of how many times have you put in an address into your Google Maps to get somewhere, and it gives you a little estimated time of arrival.
Yeah.
And you're speeding, you're doing all that because that's based off of speed limits,
Yeah.
and you're speeding the whole way, and you've only saved a minute or two
Right.
Yeah.
for a half hour
Yeah.
hour trip.
Yeah. This route is 3 minutes faster. I don't care.
Yeah, it's consistency and efficiency.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 minutes faster until you're going down 5 miles of dirt road.
Exactly. Exactly, Dave.
And you missed the left turn.
Right? You missed your turn.
Yeah. I mean, when we
381 feet off the field.
yeah, maybe I mentioned this to you guys in the podcast, but when we went back to see Sam and Indiana and stuff, and we wanted to go up to Chicago, we had a rental car and we drove, and we just took and planned it where we no toll roads, no highway, no nothing, and we just drove, and we had a beautiful
interstate.
no interstate, yeah, and made sure we got no toll roads, and all it did was lengthen the trip by like 27 minutes or 23 minutes, and we all looked at each other and goes,
an hour and a half, yeah,
half an hour longer.
Nice drive.
And we
outstanding.
Yeah, we had so much fun. And, and I'm like, half an hour, that's just nothing, So, yeah.
In the bigger scheme of things, it's not,
No, it's really not. Yeah.
Next one here, as far as speed management, adjust your speed and following distances depending on what road conditions are,
Oh boy.
You can't drive the same as a summer, sunny, dry day as you would,
right?
Middle winter, there's ice on the road or it's snowing, raining, anything like that. It's just crazy to me that you're going down the highway during this type of adverse weather and you see a guy doing 80 or 90 down the highway and you're just like, wow, you got a death wish.
Yeah.
And here's something to talk about. We don't have any tools to help with that. We've only got tools to help you in perfect conditions, in foul weather, poor road conditions. We don't have anything on that truck to help you, right? The accident mitigation isn't going to kick in. The following too close, the following too close doesn't come up and go, hey, it's snowing and raining. You need to back off another 150 feet. It's not capable of that, right? That's where our driver knowledge needs to be aware of that. That's where we need to have situational awareness to help ourselves in those situations.
I'd be afraid of accident mitigation went off.
Jamming on when like it
when
slick out.
icy,
Yeah.
I'd just
picking
be
up
afraid
something.
of being jackknifed or something. So
Yep.
that alone would make me be like, nope, I need to be away from the car.
Exactly,
that's in front of me or something.
Yeah. I think to me, that's the reason when the accident mitigation does come on you guys, that it's a hitting the brakes and release. I think there's enough parameters that if it does going to put a big truck into a skid, if you let off, it straightens everything out. Yeah. I think that's built in, not in a snowstorm, JR, but I think that's some of the parameters that in the best case, this is what we need to do if I'm going to hit the brakes.
Right. I kind of think of, for example, my pickup truck, it's got traction control and the system itself senses if you're fishtailing some way or whatever, and it hits the brakes only on one side and it straightens you out.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a crazy feature, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Yep.
And then the other one we kind of mentioned earlier is always review your routes, even if you've been someplace, 100 times, always know what's going on. That's part of having the company radio on, is there DOT inspection somewhere on the way that weren't there 2 hours ago, or has weather changed? Colorado, wait 10 minutes and the weather will change if you don't like it right now.
That's true.
So especially if you're going from Fairplay coming down here or going back up that way. So
yeah,
elevation definitely changes things like that.
Yep.
Slowing down in areas that you don't know. If you find yourself having to use GPS because you're trying to find an area or a plant or a pit or whatever it is, you shouldn't be going faster than what you're comfortable with for sure. You're trying to look for a new place and you're an unfamiliar road and you don't know what's going to go on.
Yeah.
I got to kick in on that too. Even though you're going slow, looking for an address or looking for a turn, it's still way faster than trying to turn around.
Yeah.
Because you're just driving by and you're like, oh shoot, there's my turn. And then you've got a whole nother slew of problems. How can I get this big truck turned around and get back?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, you guys, because we talk about it so much, and maybe my phone was listening to me last night because I got notification that the State Patrol Safety Awards banquet is in April that we went to last year. But I just got an update because I'm on their safety website from the Colorado State Patrol. But this is a beautiful one, and it talks about speed right here, you guys. And it says, and I love the way they kind of kick this home because you don't think about it this way. This is just another way to look at it out of the box. But some crimes intend to harm others, while others injure, disable, and kill people by chance. Speeding is strongly tied to the worst crashes in Colorado.
Yep.
So they're talking about, holding someone up at gunpoint and stealing their house belongings or whatever. And they're talking about speeding. No one intended to do that.
No.
You know what I mean? You didn't intend to hurt someone by speeding, but it's tied to some of the worst crashes in Colorado.
Yeah.
That's scary.
I forgot to write this down, but when I was looking up some of these speeding, speed management tips and all, going onto the FMCSA's website, in 2012, speeding accounted for, it was between 11 and 12,000 people's deaths.
Wow.
And it all was due to speeding.
Mhm.
Right.
So, and then ultimately, what's the most important thing about our vehicles? We got to inspect them. We got to make sure they're in tip-top shape for what we're going to do and what we need them to do in case of emergencies, and just our normal way of doing what we have to do as far as what our job incurs. So that's what I pretty much have for speed management, guys. Anything you guys would like to add to that?
I mean, I think we've been covering it back and forth that, the old thing, speed kills, and we've got some tools on there. We've got that speed limiter that we've, on the red frame trucks, and we'll check on the Western Stars, inspect your vehicle. That was so true. The one here though, check the weather and be prepared, JR. I don't mind. I mean, I love to check the weather, but don't let it cripple you. There's that fear factor, or there's that, I can't do that, or I don't want to go do that, or whatever. Just don't let that be your mindset. Check the weather to make you prepared that, hey, I better grab my hat. It's going to be, 20 degrees or whatever out, but don't go, hey, I can't do that. It's just too cold.
Right.
So just keep that in mind. That's the only thing I wanted to mention, JR.
Awesome. All right, moving on. I know I skipped it, but questions from the audience, guys. I'll take this first one here. Omar was saying, can you please mention that it's not okay to take what's not yours from the truck? So, Omar, I forgot to get back with you, but I did research video. I was not able to find anything. Unfortunately, his clipboard was taken, and a pair of gloves was taken from his truck.
His what, clipboard?
Yeah, one of the aluminum trucker clipboards that you can put your paperwork in.
One of the
it,
nice ones, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not cool, guys. Don't take what's not yours. If you have and you're listening to this, guys, please return it. It's just not cool to, whether you were gone for a day, or in his case, he was only gone for the night. He parked it. Next day, it's not there. And it's just.
Which Omar? Santa Cruz?
Reyes 0029.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, just I want to throw this out because I'm giving everybody the benefit of the doubt, that's not company issued. It's not like, oh, that truck's got one of those, I'll just take it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's somebody's personal property. So if you're thinking that's a company issue or something like that, please don't take stuff out of the truck you're not driving. Not especially not without checking with somebody.
Yeah. I mean, we do have things going in this yard that aren't from any employees.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll bring up, I found it very interesting. Everyone here knows how much we fight the homeless. We found a big split in the fence back there behind the metal bin where the super dumps park.
Mm-hmm.
We repaired it. Someone had cut the lock off of the gate right in front of the training center. We had to put a bolt through that. So we know homeless were coming in and out of here. And I guess what I'm leading up to is all these 33 trucks that we bought. I don't know whether everyone knows it, but you can only get one stack now. And it's like a 46-inch curved tip stack. Well, those don't fit in the other yard. So we've had to cut the stacks off of 33 trucks this year, and we throw the chrome tips away in that metal bin. Anyone who looks in that metal bin, there's not one chrome tip in that bin.
It's money.
Everyone's taking those chrome tips.
Wow.
And what's funny is I didn't know it. Dan from Denver Truck and Trailer not corners me. He was over here. We were talking about some other stuff, and he was like, hey, he said, I'm assuming all those chrome tips that you guys cut off your trucks, you wanted them in your metal bin, right? Or you threw them in your metal bin? And I'm like, well, yeah, it was like, that's a weird question. Well, yeah, right. And only because Dan fights the homeless over there as much as we do. And so if you go down past our business, past Denver Truck and Trailer, you hang a left and you go east towards the truck stop, there's a dead end in there. We're calling on homeless vehicles in there all the time. He found a whole pile of all of those pipes that they had taken out of our metal bin, and they dumped them over the hill over there. And I'm like, now you're stealing shit and just dumping it. So I'm not telling you guys we have homeless people wandering our yard, but at some point we did or do,
and it doesn't mean they didn't open a door.
Yeah.
I mean, how easy is it to open a door?
Right. Take the clipboard, take the gloves, and I mean, I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying it is another possibility.
Right. But how sad if there is somebody that is taking that.
Yeah.
If, it's,
I totally agree.
If you're willing to steal, what else are you willing to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Not cool.
It's not yours. We were taught if it's not yours, don't touch it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The next one here, I feel like You guys have been asked this before, but maybe it's obviously we have more people running out to Utah. But Dustin Courier asked, pre-pass for the guys that run multiple times to Utah a week.
Well, I guess I'd have to get with the guys because the last time I asked about pre-passes, most of the ports aren't open and they're not stopping us anyway, like down like Dumont and stuff like that. And I'm making this up. I haven't ran the run, but going out, you don't get stopped in Utah or it's been closed or still closed. So when I asked originally when we started running this, they're like, there's no reason for the pre-pass. And I'm thinking, well, then why should we pay that fee every month when we're being stopped very little in the port? So I guess that question, I would have to reevaluate it, whether it's worse, because that pass costs money if everybody doesn't.
Isn't it like $46 a month or something?
Yeah, I'd have to divide it out. It's
per truck. It's not cheap.
Yeah, no, it's not cheap. It's probably pretty close to that. And then on top of it, what we ran into more than anything is buying new trucks, switching trucks, doing all that kind of stuff.
Replacing
windshields. The pass gets lost. And it's $100.
Yeah, or thrown away.
Yeah, you don't get charged that up front, but if you can't return the pass to them, it's $100, you guys.
Yeah.
So
and then pretty soon, because you switch trucks, you want another pass, and yeah, it got pretty convoluted.
It did, and
is difficult to track.
Yep. Because I immediately when we started that run, I was like, oh, do we need to do this and check with some guys? And they're like, really, it doesn't do any good. And I know Chris Beams just ran into it, and we have it happen, especially when we get closer to licensing this last month, is his pre-pass randomly quit working. And it's not, I mean, you can test it, but somehow the state or they shut it off or stuff like that. And they're just a hassle. They sometimes they just don't work. So yeah, I don't know if that's a direct question, but that's how we're looking.
Answer.
Yeah, that's what we look at everything, you guys. And like I said, I did ask originally.
I think, it entertains the question also back to the driver. Are you willing to go there more than once or twice a week?
Right.
Yeah. It's the same thing. Yeah. Are we buying 110 or are we buying 30?
Right.
Or however it might be. Yeah, absolutely, JR.
All right, next one was from Fabio. He says, I'm not driving lately because I'm training. My safety record position was dropped from 1st in the fleet to 12th in the fleet, even though I'm still 100 with the score of 100. But I would like to know how it is calculated because my score was counting 0 the days I was not driving. Fabio, to answer your question best, because I did look into this, the best way I can explain it to you is that your score is not going to change. If your score has averaged 100 days for, the first 11 days or 5 days in February, that's what it's going to stay at. No matter if you have not been driving, your score will still stay there. However, the position in the fleet as far as ranking goes, that all depends on mileage as well. Because you have not been driving, you have less miles behind the wheel than the person that has.
Right.
So Samsara is going to rank that person as higher ranking because they have that much more miles. So.
Yeah. So if we have 10 guys at 100, the one with the most miles is number 1. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, that just makes sense to me because
more risk.
I only drove 10 miles. Well, my risk of driving 10 miles safely and going 100 is 2 different situations, but my score is still 100. Yeah,
exactly.
Now, Yeah, sorry. I will say on the other hand of that, Rob was in yesterday, Rob White, and he told me, I said, you only drive 60 miles, and he corrected me in a 36. Is that what it is? 36
like
miles
that,
a day or something? Because he pretty much just drives down to Union, blows off trailers all day long and comes back, right? So he's kind of on the other side of that, Jim, and what I'm getting at, we would all think, oh, that's a piece of cake. Well, he's super scrutinized.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough miles.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough miles. So when he has a mistake, and when I say a mistake, that's
counts
not the
more.
right word.
It's like catastrophic.
Detrimental to his score. So he's almost got to be perfect to maintain that.
Right? Because I know Rob can do it, though.
Oh, he's already got it. Yeah, but he's challenged a little more because in a very unique truck, he's got a single drive.
Yeah.
So to run with the Jakes on, and he's almost always bobtail, even when he's got a trailer on. But bobtail, even empty. On one, the Jakes will bounce the tires.
Yeah, spin them,
and
slide them.
Like, yeah. God, and I said, well, this is the reason we're giving everybody the opportunity here for the first 90 days of the rollout.
Yeah.
And let's, because we're not after hurting him because of that.
No.
You know what I mean? If he can only truly achieve like an 85, that's not fair. You know, it's not fair to Rob is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
And I know he's achieving it, but there's some kind of additional parameters he's the only driver having to deal with. Right? A manual transmission,
Single drive,
bobtail. You know what I mean? And I know we have we have the super dumps that are manual transmissions, but they're in a completely different category. That's not affecting them. They can use the Jake and not lock up the drive tires when they throw them on.
Yeah.
You know? Bobtails.
And I totally agree with that statement. And I know you said Rob's achieving it, but I still have to go back to that. This is the most fairest, though, the system that we've ever found
across the board.
Because, you know, Rob is having to be perfect because he's not getting any miles. Well, I still believe that because you're not getting any miles, you need to be perfect, right? Compared to the guy that's running 100.
Yeah.
To me, that's fair.
Yep.
You know, it's taking it and putting it making the board as flat and as even as possible.
Yeah.
So, and we've never been able to do that.
Right.
Just haven't.
So I'm going to skip Ricardo's question for right now because I thought it was an amazing question and I want us to have a little time with that one. But I'll go to the anonymous questions. First one.
Oh, no.
If our trucks had a dating bio, what would it say?
What's a dating bio?
Like if you were a dating app, Dave, what would you
You're introducing yourself.
If you were single?
You know, when I was single, I would meet people outside at a sporting event or at a school or at a church. You don't do that shit online.
What was that big music event in New York? Woodstock. We all didn't go to Woodstock.
Well, I mean, JR spit out that question earlier, and I joked that I was going to give it to Super Dave, but you know, the first thing I thought of in the bio, if one of the trucks was a bio, is I'd have to talk how I'm 250 inches.
Oh, wow.
You know, I would have to say that I reach full torque at 900 RPMs, right?
Righty there.
I would have to talk that, hey, I come in Viper red, you know, I have heated seats. I mean, I'm not a single stack, I'm dual stack. So, you know, if one of the trucks was in a dating app, that's what I would throw out there.
Young, sexy, innovative.
Talk about kicking the tires and lighting the fires.
Right?
All right, next question. What trends do you see shaping trucking in the next 5 to 10 years?
Safety,
technology.
Safety. Yeah, but
technology is a big one.
That technology is all driven by safety.
Yeah, and I think that AI, Dave, because what I see, or if I can answer that well, is, you know, you're going safety, safety, safety. I think AI and the capabilities and the advancements, they're going to concentrate so much on safety, safety, safety because the drivers can't do it. Or it's not that they can't do it. It's very hard to do. So any tool they can give us in the next 5 years of that advancement, you know, the accident mitigation, the side spotter, you know, all that kind of stuff, I think that's going to be developed farther and farther, where maybe the truck yells at you, or it gives you in the dark in the next 5 years. It's going to go here. You have a blind curve coming up. That's going to be the things I think in the safety portion that it's going to see, you know, and they're still going to
digital mirrors with the visibility we have in the dark, and
exactly
being able to put the red and green line on where the trailer's at.
Absolutely. And I still think it's going to go back, though, or not still going to go back. And we just have been preaching it, and we're trying to teach all of our drivers to do it yourself. There's going to be speed limiters. You know, and there's going to be, whether it's going to be a GPS or an AI that's going to go, okay, it's 55 miles an hour here on 270. That's all the truck's going to go.
Right.
And when you get into a different zone, it's going to go 65. I think those are the things, but those are going to be irritating for, I'm going to say, like a old school trucker like me or somebody. If traffic's running 65 or something like that, you know, maybe I want to go a little faster, but we have our parameters set up, right? We're trying to get our safety scores. So what I'm getting at is that's not going to make a difference, some of those advancements, because we're driving so well right now.
I'm going to piggyback on that, and a trend that I feel that is I'm seeing and that will be more prevalent in the future is it's something we did mention earlier, but potential customers looking into companies that are safe and what do they have implemented in safety. So going to work for, Joe Schmo trucking company with no safety program, no safety features, or old trucks, I believe that's a dying breed, I guess you can say. That's something that's right now it's good, or it may be okay, but it's going to go away.
Those companies are going to have the catastrophic failure, right? They're going to get the deal against them, the settlement. You know what I mean?
Oh, the nuclear verdict.
The nuclear verdict.
Yep.
And they'll be out of business. You know what I mean? And because they have no safety program. The driver we met with yesterday, you asked, JR, what background do you come from? And he hasn't worked at a company that promotes safety like we do.
He's been asked to do it the wrong way.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's disappointing, right? And there's a lot of people out there, and I'm going to go with especially in our industry. I mean, our industry, we're a disgrace in the sand and gravel version as far as safety goes, and that's the reason we here at JFW push it and push it and push the safety. We have to do it right. We have to be better, and you guys will hear me curse technology on one hand and praise it on the other. And what I'm getting at, the technology with the camera and the Samsara, we've talked about how amazing it is. I mean, I can't think of one thing Samsara does that I don't like, right? And something they've offered that I don't like, or I can't come up with one thing. Every time they test something and then they provide it for us and it's at no cost, it's just another additional safety feature. It's like win, 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 win. And then on the other hand, I go to the technology of the trucks, and that technology is a forced technology. And what I mean by that is with the restriction of all of the emissions that all of the manufacturers have been put under, they've had to develop technology that literally we're testing. And when I say it, you see it in the trucks we have broke down, this wrong, that wrong, the other wrong. Well, we're not sure. Well, PACCAR needs to open a TCS case and this, that, and the other, and it sucks. And I look at that as that's technology, but it's not tried and true. You know what I mean? Our government forced them to create that technology, and we are literally test piloting it, and it sucks, right? The Samsara technology, they've created it because there's a need for it, right? The diesel side, they've created it because they were forced to. Yeah. So pros and cons to the technology there, but I do want to emphasize what JR is saying, this Envirotech contract out of Redmond. They were like, you're on Samsara. What's your safety score? What do you do on the fleet? Blah, 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 blah. They looked up our through our data queue, through all of our where we're safety rated with DOT and all of that. They were all into that. They're not going to hire Bob's Trucking and trust them to deliver 45 loads a week out of Redmond, Utah.
Yeah, they
down the I-70 corridor because they know the liability.
Yeah, they didn't renew any contracts with the railroad because they picked a good company to deliver.
Yes.
So think about if we couldn't deliver, they got to get the railroad to move loads for them.
Right.
That's going to be a problem, Dave.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I want to mention just a little thing on technology and how it's helped us, and coming from a background that the driver came from a background that didn't promote safety, and Super Dave, help me on this one because you deal with it all the time. But we are still having a lot of drivers that we send for pre-employment drug testing, and they are failing. They haven't been through the clearinghouse. They show up and their pee's too hot, their pee's too cold. They're using synthetic urine, different stuff like that. You guys, you wouldn't believe, the failures we're having. But now with the technology, I mean, we just had a new applicant that we'd hired. Dave sent him for his drug test. His pee, they don't tell you whether it was too hot or too cold. He refused the test to retest right then and there and left.
Because it was his urine wasn't within temperature.
Right. Not in temperature.
And our guy gives you a 10-degree temperature variance.
Right.
That's actually standard. That's
okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't have, that's the
window, right?
Yeah,
Which is a pretty good window.
It really is.
Because he refused and left, Kevin put him in the clearinghouse. That's the new rules, the new technology.
As a refusal, which is a fail.
Right as a fail. So he's
required to do by law.
Right. So that driver's not going to any other company and getting a job.
Right.
A reputable company.
Reputable. Yeah.
He is not. So you just knocked yourself out of ever getting a decent driving job.
Yeah. Are you going to go to work at a 5-star company? He's not.
Nope.
Right. He's going to go to work.
I mean, yes,
French rubbish removal.
Yeah, yes and no, Jim. I mean, he could definitely go through the SAP, which obviously while you're doing all that, you're going to have to go be, work at McDonald's or something. You're not going to be driving a truck. But after 3 years time and you've completed your SAP, it does go away.
3 years.
3 years, right?
Yeah. Who can wait 3 years? And
Dave,
tell me this.
I was that guy in 3 years. I feel like I would be far along on my new career.
Right.
I wouldn't even be worried about driving anymore.
Right. Because it's more important to do drugs.
No. I mean, I guess if you want to look at it that way, but if I was that guy that needed to learn the lesson the hard way, but if I was motivated to go off and improve myself, I would go do that.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, Super Dave, and I went over the numbers with you, is most people, well, it doesn't, I'm not going to do it that way because I'm going to give you the stats. Anybody that's ever been in an SAP program after 5 years, if they've been retested, 80% of them fail.
I thought it was
85% fail.
Yeah.
So
either way, 80 or 85%, that's staggering.
Right after 5 years.
That's the reason I sit here and say doing drugs is more important to you.
Yep. So just
and correct me if I'm wrong or explain it to me, Dave. For some reason, I thought when they went through the SAP program, they had to have when I say sponsor, they had to work for someone. Like we have to provide the SAP program.
No,
they can.
We have to provide a return to duty drug test.
Okay.
You can't just go out and go to a drug testing place and take a DOT drug test. That has to be done by an employer.
Gotcha.
You can can have somebody like one of these companies that administers your counseling and then places you or gives you options to place in. And this is something that it's kind of misrepresented all the time. SAP stands for Substance Abuse Professional. It's not substance abuse
I was
program.
Program.
Yeah. This is a drug testing follow-up program that you're involved in. The counseling is just counseling. You have to go to counseling just like if you got a DUI, you have to go to the counseling to, get your license back. But after you're done, and this is what and they call me all the time and ask if, we would be able to take them on. And, I say, are you completely finished with all of your classes and all of your follow-up drug tests? And then they don't even know what I'm talking about when I say the follow-up drug tests. That's when you have to get random for sometimes as much as 4 or 5 years after that test. Yeah. And it's a headache, I'll tell you, but once you complete all of the counseling and all of the follow-up drug tests, which can be administered at your cost by a third-party administrator, then you need to get a return-to-duty drug test that can only be provided by an employer.
Yeah. So more work on us.
Yeah.
Right.
But it eliminates the drugs, Dave. It's made us better.
Yeah. Truly,
truly has.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. And it's kind of funny because we talk about this stuff kind of randomly as such. I mean, I know we just had an applicant, someone Dave hired, go and do his pre-employment. And I think, where do you learn to go buy synthetic urine, how to heat it? Because you can't just store it in your car, right? You have to heat it at some point. So I guess what I'm leading up to is at some point you're hanging out with friends that are educating you how to get synthetic urine and get it to temperature and how to pass a drug test because your buddies are doing it. You know what I mean? And I try and wrap my head around that. And I'm like, man, you need to make some better choices, right? You need to stop doing this shit. You need to stop hanging out with those friends You need to make some better choices all the way around. And don't get me wrong, people get sucked in. We've had some people here that have been and are in some SAPs, right? And they're completing them and they're not going to fail again. And I'm so proud of them for that, right? You know what I mean? And we've had probably more on the other end that haven't been able to complete it, and they have failed, and they're not going to make it.
And they're good people.
They are good people.
They are good people, and just
they're caught up in something that they can't work themselves out of. But I truly believe that's your friend group. That's your buddy group. I don't think one person makes that choice. Maybe once they're so far down that road, they can't help but make that choice because maybe there's an addiction or, whatever the case may be that's bigger than I'm even educated enough to talk about. Right. But it all starts with some choices, and I couldn't imagine like me explaining to Sam how to pass a pre-employment drug test. Hey, dude, you just need to get online. You just need to buy some synthetic urine and, you need to keep a temperature gun, put that urine on your defroster vent while you're waiting in the car while it's 7 degrees out. Don't let it get too hot. Otherwise you're not going to pass, and then, tuck it in your shirt, or put it in your pants or your underwear or whatever.
Strap it to your thigh.
Right. And when you go in,
make sure you pull that little hose out before you pull the real hose out.
Right. And be sure to put that on your dating app.
What I'm getting out of this is more work instead of, just doing the right thing.
It's always just more work.
We have busy enough lives that.
And the thing is, the risk you're taking is your career, right? That's the thing. Because when the clearinghouse first came out, first knee-jerk reaction is, man, that's going to cut the driver pool in half.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are we going to do? And it's like, well, what we're going to do is have great drivers that aren't doing drugs on the road that in case they have an accident and they're drug tested, we're not liable for.
Exactly.
Right? And I mean, how many random drug tests do we do throughout the year? I mean, we have every quarter. How many names get drawn, Dave?
Gosh, it's about 15 to 20 because some of them are doing alcohol as well.
Oh, yeah. You have to have that certain amount.
Yeah. And you have to test over the course of the year. You have to have over 50% drug tested and over 25% alcohol tested.
Right. So every quarter
we're way above the minimum.
Yeah.
Because we do it every quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Consortium wasn't just testing us enough.
No.
Yeah. We were in a consortium for years and never got one random. Never won. And Jim and I were like, that's kind of a problem.
Yeah. And perfectly legal.
What? Yeah. Perfectly legal. And what liability did we have? We could have had 30 guys here, buying and selling from each other out back and never know it. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just warning you, we drug test here, pre-employment and then quarterly. And the thing, we have nothing to do with it. Our drug tech, the company that we work with that we have the contract with, or they have the contract with us, Dave sends over a driver list. Here's all 120 drivers. It's got to be a computer generated list. He puts the names in.
Randomizer.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause we were administering it ourselves when we first started doing it ourselves. And we had a bingo ball dispenser and we got fined by DOT because we were doing it ourselves. That wasn't randomly generated.
Yeah.
It's like a frickin' bingo dispenser, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I used to leave my bingo out of it, Dave.
Well, me too. Yeah. And the ones we couldn't
we didn't
pass,
want to.
right?
And then Dave was paying us a little bit, so we were leaving his.
Well, I thought we showed Dave how to, warm the synthetic urine.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He knows. Yeah. He's got a whole.
He knows about that pee bag.
Yeah.
When you're my age, it's not got nothing to do with the urine you're using. You use your own, but it's just about trying to do it.
It's just a good number one, right?
It's good number one.
I don't want to squirt a putt a little bit.
Yeah.
I need
but
to
you don't get up till
9:30.
Oh man.
Yeah. Be sure that test is after 9:30 when I'm out of bed.
Yeah. Just again, you can't refuse it. And if you do,
you're done.
You're done.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened to that kid. He made up a story and I don't know if it's true or not, but said he had to go pick somebody up and Kevin warned him, if you leave, that constitutes a refusal. And he said, well, I have to. And it's kind of funny because then he texted me back saying, is there anything I can do? Can I go on, Monday or whatever the next day was? I really need my CDL. I can't let the clearinghouse take it. Well, why didn't you think about that beforehand?
Yeah, you were explained that.
Yeah. I didn't want to bring it up, Super Dave, but when we talk about, the driver we had the meeting with, that he came from other companies that didn't promote safety, where this driver was coming from, they don't drug test. They don't promote safety.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you are trying to better yourself, if you think JFW is that place, we drug test. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
And it's not because we do it. It's because it's the right thing.
Yeah, well, it's the law.
Yeah. But it's the right thing.
When we get audited, we need to have everything in order.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
All righty. Next one is, if you had $1 for every time someone underestimated how expensive it is to run a trucking company, could you retire?
Is that Ricardo's?
No, that's anonymous.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's a dollar thing, JR, where I think we could easily retire, but it's the misconception of how much money we're making. That's where we could retire, because they see the shiny trucks. They might see the building. We've already talked about it, building this new building. It's like, they're just making so much money. No, that's 25 years of saving and building equity in this property and in this building to be able to achieve that. So I think the underestimation of what it really costs, because they just don't understand, the price of fuel, the price of a tire, a safety program, the price of what we pay to get a good driver, all that kind of stuff, having health insurance and all that. And then more than anything, and people just don't see this, and we try to explain it. You just come right down to the liability. We had lunch the other day with some friends, and they're basically kind of in the same business we are, and it was just that we just all got to talking about the liability that nobody understands. And I know that's not a dollar amount, but that's if we
all agreed the liability we cover.
Yeah.
And the worry we have and how we try and do things so right, we should be filthy rich.
Yeah. We should be charging somebody for it, Jared.
Talking swimming in greenbacks.
Yeah.
That's where that comment
Filthy.
you had yesterday, that I wondered where it came from.
Yeah.
It must have come from your lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jim, I'm not after correcting you by any means, but you said 25 years. This year you're going to be here 43 years. I'm going to be here 38 years.
I was just taking this building, which seems forever.
Right. And I guess, I want to be sure people understand that, because you're right. I mean, we're looked at as, they're making so much money. This is a lifetime of work.
It's generational.
Right. I mean, how many other people can say they've only had one job? I mean, it's right, Dave?
I've had more than just one.
Right. But I mean, you've been here an extraordinary amount of time. JR's on the course to be here, that same time. And that's impressive. And I guess people need to understand that, right? The things we've given up along the way. And this is just the next step. It's just a new house. Right? Yeah. We're selling this house and buying another house.
Yeah.
I'm sure many, many people that work here have done that. Right? That's all we're doing.
Yeah.
But it's going to look like we're just killing it.
We want it to be better than our old house.
Yes.
That's just that all there is to it. And part of that is,
and that makes us better.
The same thing, want it better than your old house. That's so the kids have bigger rooms, and your wife has, if she's the one cooking, has a bigger kitchen and things like that. When we move to this building, we want the mechanics to have bigger bays. We want the wash bay to have 2 bays. We want the safety team to have their own office. We want the drivers to have a fuel station that's faster than they've ever had anyplace else. We want parking to be safer by wider parking places. We want the ability to get on and off the highway and get to different parts of the neighborhood or the community is faster. We're all of that. We want to have a place that we can all meet together and be together. That's our next house.
Yes.
You know, that's our next dream. So it is.
That's a lifetime of effort
Yep.
to get there.
So it's literally better than what we have right now.
Right. For everyone.
For everyone.
Not just you and I.
Not me and you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love it. Love it. All right, last one. This is from Ricardo Cordova. I don't know if this was directed to all of us or just me or whatever, but he asks, in your opinion, why should drivers stay with JFW long term?
That is a good question. I think I would like to spit out if you enjoy driving and you can drive for a long time. I think we've built a company, a driving company or a driving job that our pay is good. There's opportunities to continue to make better money. We've proven that year after year. If it's not in a raise or a program, it's in our rates. I think, you know, what we offer in insurance and things like that. And I'm talking driving, JR. I'm talking that. Is there a place for you to work your way up into other positions? No, we're stagnant there. We're not a big company that often comes to fruition. But as far as a driving job, our equipment, our culture, our safety team, everything about us is very good compared to the other market. You know, especially I'm going to say a local trucking company, even though we're running Redmond, you know, but yeah, we've even made Redmond different. How many over the road companies put you up in a hotel? You know, so I don't know. Did you have a it's not an owner. That's not a shot. You're in a different position than I am.
Right. And you hit a lot of good points, Jim, because, you know, I looked it up and some of the things that drivers look for a new company, you know, competitive pay, benefits, consistent miles. We look in consistency, right? You know, having direct deposit and timely payment, positive company culture. We promote this every single day. Open communication, fair treatment, and the list goes on. And, you know, JFW it checks all the boxes for me. And I've told you guys that it's always, after getting out of the military, I had a hard time finding the same higher calling that I had while I was in the military. And to respond to Ricardo and, you know, in my personal answer, I want to read this to you guys. This is what was my creed as a air crewman in the Navy. And it reads like this. I am a United States Naval Air Crewman. My country has built me the finest aircraft known to man. They have entrusted me to use it to keep our country free. With my honor, courage, and commitment, my aircraft will be able to perform any task. I will always remember that I am part of an unbeatable team, the United States Naval Air Crew Team. Being an air crewman is not an easy job. When I am cold, hot, or tired, I will not fail my crew. When flying, I will be ever diligent and watchful to keep my crew safe. If we fly into battle, may the heavens watch over our crew and protect us from the enemy so that we may fly again. I read this last night as I was pondering on Ricardo's question, and I see JFW here. You know, my country has built me the finest aircraft known to man. JFW has provided me the best equipment that is available to all of us, you know. My aircraft will be able to perform any task. You know, that is our goal every day with what we do. You know, we need to perform anything that we can. As you guys have mentioned time and time again, we provide a service, you know, and our customers are not just the, you know, Brandon and everybody else we service, but it's the four-wheelers. It's our families that are out on the road.
Right.
You know, and it just goes on. And I find that higher calling in JFW, and that's why I stay here long term. It's not just, you know, about money or benefits, which all those are great, but it's the fact that I've found a place where I can grow with and look forward to growing with, you know, so that's just me.
That's outstanding, Jim.
Yeah, thank you, JR. Yeah. Good question though, Ricardo. I mean, I love that. I love that question. Puts us on the spot, you know, makes you reflect. And I mean, I know we've told that story. It's somewhat like our mentor that came in, Mick Walker, when he asks you, what do you want on your headstone? What do you want on your grave? What do you want it to say? And,
What do you want him to say at your funeral?
and that kind of the same thing. What would you tell a driver to make a long career here?
You can pick what's going to be on your headstone. I mean, you do when you order your funeral stuff, right?
Super Dave,
You
right?
can't pick what people are going to say.
Exactly, Dave. That's where I was going to go. I hope they say something nice.
Right? That mother effer.
Yeah, there's popular things going on these days where that people have a living funeral now.
Oh, wow.
A little weird, but
Really, JR?
yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy.
I haven't heard about that one. I've heard about the
Yeah.
making diamonds and putting you under the sea and shooting you into space and all the other stuff with your ashes, but I haven't. But
I do want to back up a little bit to Ricardo's question again, though, and emphasize, hopefully, the time you've been here, Ricardo, you can appreciate the fact that we here at JFW are trying to provide absolutely everything we can for you to the best of our ability, whether it be a truck, whether it be a trailer, whether it be health insurance, whether it be, the new safety package, whether it be our safety culture, whether it be the fuel system at the new yard or whatever the case may be.
An anniversary card or a gift for your kids or
right.
Anything along those lines.
The matching 401k program, the this, that, or the other. And I guess
a prayer each week for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hope you can see that we truly want the best for you, and I guess maybe that's it. And I know a lot of times, and I feel guilty, especially lately, like the last month and a half, I just feel like I've been under so much stress. I've probably been short with people, as far as some of the drivers go, some of the new guys. I haven't been as communicative as I normally am. And we're at this weird precipice time of the year where, we're negotiating some contracts, we're doing some other things. And I don't know why our business is getting more and more and more difficult because of the governmental restraints, because of, more taxes, because of this, that, and the other. And, we've gotten so heavily politically involved to fight some of these initiatives that are just crushing us. And I guess I just want to emphasize, number one, I'm sorry if you've ran across me and I haven't led the culture we talk about, because that's inexcusable. And, I can only try and move better or be better moving forward from there. But also, that's how deeply involved on a daily basis we are in this business. We take every single thing to heart, every little issue, every missed load, every email where we did something wrong or, where we did something right, so I guess it's a lot. There's a lot of moving pieces, to make us look like a good looking mallard duck on top. We're paddling like a son of a gun underneath. So yeah. And that's something I do want to bring up because we talked about it. Was it last week on the prescriptions, Jim?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We totally forgot that in our notes.
So we did. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. So was that the last question from the audience?
That was the last question. Yes.
Okay. I guess the last thing we have as far as stuff before we get to Dave's High Road Hauling is we mentioned last week that we just learned last week, literally, that our new insurance program, we had no prescription coverage available if you went with the HRA. We knew it wasn't available in the, what's the other one called?
the
savings plan, the HSA. We knew that wasn't available because that's the way that's designed. And almost everybody that's ever been in that system, that's how that system is designed. You don't utilize that until you have your account full for your savings plan, and then you use it. And for some people, it works great. For others, not so great. It depends if you've participated in it, if you have a family, multiple layers. That's the reason we try and offer at least two of those. Well, the HRA, the health reimbursement plan, we were told we had it and we didn't. And we just found out about it last week. So they came to us yesterday and we finally have it fixed. We do have one. It was basically a screw up on their end. They told us we had it. We were of the opinion we had it. Our booklets showed we had it and all of that. And JFW is ponying up the cost difference because they said it was a screw up on their end, but they're not covering all of it. Yeah. So we're ponying up another $17,000 to cover it because our people need their prescription coverage. And it's because our word of how we feel we sold it to you right? No matter whether it's their fault, here we are again. Here's another point, Ricardo. This is who we are. This had nothing to do with us, but we're having to pay for it out of pocket. We could turn right around and just pass that on to you guys, and we're not.
Yeah. Because it's the right thing to do for
you.
Right?
It's not fair. This is what we were told it was. This is what we told you it was. So here it is. So we have that fixed. And I know, Super Dave, you had some prescriptions you got done. That goes retroactive back to January 1st. So any of the prescriptions you paid for out of pocket, if you have the receipts for those, we need to get it turned in to the insurance company, and they'll reimburse you on that. I know, I don't want to mention names, but I know we have a handful of other people that paid, one of them needed insulin. I know that's like $1,000 that they had to pay out of pocket
for a month's supply.
I hate to say it, but you can't do without insulin. You got to have it. So they had to pay, whether that went on a credit card or what, but please get with Joanne. Know that's how important this is.
And give it just a few days, because we just did this like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, just give it a few days for it to get fixed. But yeah, I didn't mean it.
But it is retroactive.
Yeah.
You will get reimbursed for what you spent back to January 1 with the deductible, of course.
Yeah, with a deductible.
Right, it's not 100%.
Tier 1, Tier 2.
It's just what the deductible showed.
Yeah, just what
what you were expecting, what we were expecting.
Yeah. And then going forward, if you go in to get your prescriptions and they tell you have no coverage, that's wrong.
Yeah.
So well, good to know.
Yeah, no, it's good news. Thanks for remembering that, Dave.
Yeah.
All right, Super Dave, you can hit us with that high road hauling.
All righty. I'd love to. So this ties in with what we've been talking about today off and on. When Brother Dave talked about your friends taking you down the wrong road and showing you to do drugs, and also the inspiration for this, when I started researching it, came from that Super Bowl commercial that I mentioned, with the NFL mentors telling these kids, you are someone, and that they have to believe, no matter what their background or what their color or whatever adversity they have, they are someone, and they are very important people. So I just kind of came up with this, and I've read about it before in other articles and that, but you need the right people to show you the right way. It's widely known that one of the best ways to improve on a skill is to practice it with someone who's better than you. Think golf, tennis, skiing, poker, yoga. Yes, you'll have to work harder, think faster, and learn more fundamentals. You'll sweat, you'll have more sore muscles, but after a while, your skills will improve and eventually maybe even be good enough to teach someone else a thing or two. This idea translates nicely to your personal and professional life as well. Say goodbye to the negative Nellies. Everyone knows people and directly has to deal with the people whose lives are constantly churning with drama. These are the people who will never manage to elevate themselves. Far worse is that they can't help to bring you right down along with them. Life is hard enough. We don't always win, and there will always be obstacles and naysayers along our path to success. During those times, nothing feels better than having someone you can share your fears and doubts with. Friends and mentors not only listen, but also cheer you on to be the best that you can be. Get back in there and do better. You can do it. They give you the energy and help you propel you forward. Find people who are smarter than you. Many entrepreneurs and business people aspire to be the smartest person in the room on every topic. But if you're always the smartest person, you're actually limiting yourself. Famously, Jim Rohn once said, "You're the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with." It's common for us to underestimate the importance of the company we keep. We need people, whether they're teachers, mentors, family, or trusted friends, who challenge us and push us to be better. The right circle of influence raises the bar, helping us set new, loftier expectations of ourselves. Oftentimes, we don't know what we are capable of until we see others achieve. It's time to rethink how we use our social media and focus on our real-life relationships. Today's social media feeds can often be reminders of what we can't do. Spend time on the process of success, not the results of it. Highly successful people are generally willing to share what it really takes to make things happen. And they have the ability to help you learn from the mistakes they've made along the way and the tricks and tips to help you reach your goals faster. Seek out leaders of your field and get some real face time with them. Remember, if you can't play tennis, watch the game. If you want to become your best self, challenge yourself to review, rethink, and cull through your habits and friends, acquaintances, and colleagues, and find the right people that will actually help you get there. And the quote this week is, "Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful." And that was spoken by Albert Schweitzer.
I love that quote.
Nice.
That's really
Yep.
good. Yep.
Happiness truly is a choice, and you got to choose happiness to be successful.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. You do.
You know?
I really like the statement in here. Spend time on the process of success, not just the results. And so many people nowadays are result oriented. I wish I had $1 million. They're looking at I want a new car. I want, this and that. Focus on the process, because if you just focus on the result, you'll never reach it.
Well, and you'll never be happy, Dave. So many times we talk here about it's the journey. It's not the destination.
Right.
The destination is so hard to get to. You have to enjoy the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And man, we've been on a journey for a long time here,
Yes,
You have to enjoy your own journey.
Yes.
Because if you're living a life where you're just constantly comparing yourself to others, you're never going to be happy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't have this because that person has it, or no.
And,
right.
And that's a lot of what social media is all about. People post their beautiful little life or their achievements or what they have, and
A perfect life.
a perfect
They
life.
don't see the other side
It
of it.
is not.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That leads us to final thoughts. I have one. My final thought comes from, pretty much the Bible and Colossians 3:23. Work is a gift. It's an opportunity to thank God for the unique talents he has given to you. So whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. And I truly believe that we all have talents that are unique to us. Not everybody can drive a big truck. Not everybody can, do certain jobs, Be happy with what you're doing. And it goes back to the acronym that Jam has mentioned time and time again is AGE, attitude, gratitude, and effort. Just give it your all.
Good stuff. Good
That's
stuff.
very
right
true.
there.
Very true.
My final thoughts are pretty lame. I'm sticking with the safety, the Samsara score, and really dive into that Samsara score. If you don't know how to log in, JR sent out a great connect, but still don't hesitate to reach out to your leader in your group or someone else, another driver here, your trainer. Don't feel embarrassed. Even though we've sent the stuff out, we are here to help you achieve that 9%. We want, it would be a dream come true that the month come that every single driver here got a 9% safety bonus that worked here. I mean, it's going to cost us a shit ton of money and we're going to be happy to spend it. You know what I mean? Right,
Yeah.
Jim?
The best dollar ever spent.
Best dollar ever spent, because it is an investment.
Yep.
It is absolutely an investment.
Yeah.
And I guess.
And it's an investment in the people that matter most.
Yeah.
It may seem like a lot of money, but it's a lot more money if we cause a fatality.
Absolutely, JR. Yeah, absolutely. Or an accident or anything along that path. And I guess I just, I want to be sure everyone understands this is just data we're looking at. You know what I mean? And we can help you understand the data if you don't understand it. Just like, I know we talked a long time about the meeting we had with the driver yesterday. It was a great meeting. It really was a great meeting. And he's going to have the opportunity to be great after that meeting. We gave him so many tools, so many opportunities, so much education, so much support, right? And we just want everybody to win here. We want it to be a win-win-win. So yeah, that's my final thoughts is I'm sitting here smiling again, just talking about it, super excited for it. And I wish everyone 100% success.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. What was the what was the title of your high road hauling? Did you have one, Dave? What was it?
You need the right people to show you the right way.
The right people to show you the right way. Yeah, I just ran across this, you guys, and it is, I don't know. I really, really like it because it's so simple if you just think about it, because it has to do with your high road hauling, Dave. It has to do with us, trying to get the safety scores up. It has to do with your biblical verse there, JR, or, talking about, your creed when you're in the Air Force. And it just seems so simple, stupid to me. I guess that's the reason I like it. So the only value a rubber band has is when it is stretched. As long as it is lying in its easy, comfortable state, it has no function. But the moment you make it bigger and make it get bigger to hold something together, all of a sudden it has value. Only as I expand myself do I prove myself. Growth, desire, and needs need to be stretched. And when we are stretched, that's when we become who we are supposed to be.
People need a challenge.
Right? It's back to your
Human
sharks,
beings
Dave.
flourish with a challenge.
Yep.
Otherwise,
Yep.
we're not very good.
Yep. If you're
Right?
just
We're
laying there
complacent.
and you're just your regular old state, you're not doing a
Yep.
damn thing.
We
You're
need to
not
be challenged.
stretched. Yep. But
We thrive outside of our comfort level.
exactly.
Yes.
You stretch us a
Yes.
little bit and we just thrive at it. So yeah, simple way for me to look at it. I
Yep.
like things
It's great.
I'd
simple.
like a copy of that, Jim. That's good.
It's just so simple,
Right? Good
You-
little analogy.
You're just going to lay there and be a rubber band, not holding anything together.
Yep.
Not doing a thing.
Yep. I can't hold anything together till after 9 when I get out of bed.
No, that's in.
You must do a lot of laundry.
Sheets only, Dave.
Every day.
All right, Soup, final thought?
Yeah, I mean, that was a great one, Jim. You were spot on with that. I think everybody does need a challenge, and you have to go out of your way sometimes to make it happen, and everybody's, I love the show Ancestry, Finding Roots is what it's called on PBS. It's on every Tuesday night, and we watched it, and the two people that were on last night, and it seems very often too, maybe they come from a slave ancestors or, very bad oppression back in the 1700s or whatever. But nowadays people really have it easy. They didn't have, they haven't been starving. And I know I'm not talking about everybody in the world. I'm talking about people in the United States, but most of humans' existence has been pretty sketchy. They've been chased by tigers and they've, not been able to find food or drought or whatever. And that's what made humans what they are today, right?
Absolutely. Being stretched.
Yeah,
Dave.
being stretched, Jim.
Being stretched.
Yep.
And that's all we're trying to do, because it is achievable, like with the safety bonus and all of this stuff, is we're just trying to stretch you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We're just trying to drop a shark in the tank.
Yep. Got to
That's-
have a shark in the tank.
That's all we're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, with that, don't forget to like and subscribe to Channel 23 Podcasts, everybody. Hit that follow button. Also, don't forget to go back and listen to episode 72 to help find Amber's mom. Links to her story will be in today's show notes. And with that, we end with our creed.
Nice.
Right.
Together we face and overcome all that stands before us. Together we are accident free. Together we joyfully create honest value for those we serve. Together we celebrate our differences and respect those with whom we work. Together we are accountable for our words and our actions. Together we are the JFW family.
Woo! Thanks, everybody. Have a great
Yeah.
day.
Everybody have a good one.
Be safe out there.
I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition. any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We worked for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, cause we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. I hear there's a couple million tons to move. I see them everywhere. So you best get out their way and watch that sand and gravel disappear. There's another run to make. We gotta get it there on time. And we got what it takes to lay it all out on the line. We'll lay it all out on the line. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks got the best drivers in town. They got all the tools they need to keep that hammer down. When they hit them scales, they won't need to dodge them, won't need to duck them. They just keep that hammer down, and they keep that diesel trucking. Keep that hammer down, and keep that diesel trucking. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. They just keep them doors a-closed, keep them butts in their seats, cause those customers are calling, and those red trucks can't be beat. They've gotta put the hammer down and pick up another load. Get it off the ground, keep them eyes open and on the road. Keep them eyes open on the road. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Breaker 23, anybody got a copy on that Channel 23 podcast? Welcome, and thanks for listening.